Hello, and welcome back to the Everwind Chronicles. I am Doug, your dungeon master, and we are a group of friends and storytellers telling you a story through Dungeons and Dragons. Finally, all together here again, healthy and ready to go, finally, for episode 91. So, where we last left off, the party had finally made their way to Lyrindel, trying to investigate rumors of people who might share some of the same properties as some of the villains they've already defeated. They, through a long series of events, ended up sneaking into the country, learning a bit about it, meeting some different people, getting smuggled in unpleasantly, and eventually deciding to join the rebellion. A group of people called the White Rebellion, led by an individual called the White Death, who they later find out its name is Adris, and begin to learn some very unpleasant things about the country and why this rebellion is happening and what the kind of main arguments against the current form of government are. Mainly around a lot of oppression, a lot of tyrannical-esque governing, and some very highly questionable practices, including the recent discovery in their latest mission as Adris took them out on a mission to show them firsthand some of this reasoning. They are told they're disrupting some supply lines, only to discover that they're actually wagons full of people that are being sold into slavery somewhere. And so, after discovering that and making their way back, defending the wagon train against another attack, and having a brief encounter with a group called the Dulgathon, or the Ghosts of Autumn, which are part of Maple Bay, an elite fighting force in Maple Bay, who take in these people rescued to help them recover in a very careful, thoughtful way. They make their way back to the camp, where they are about to start a 6-week training to prepare them for being a rebel in Lyrindel. And so as they return and rest for the night, kind of exhausted from their travels and the fight, morning comes, and they all are jerked awake by the sound of a voice saying, "Now announcing a visitor!"
My favorite thing in the world.
As the enormous form of Drael, the gigantic Goliath, barges into the tent and just starts with his booming earthquake of a voice, says, "Ah! Up with you! We're beginning training now! Up, up, up!"
Okay.
I'm up.
Can I just say, I'm really glad that as a team, we don't have morning start times. And I'm up.
You do now.
I know.
Begrudgingly roll up my stuff.
Break the tent down, all that fun stuff.
Come, hurry! Faster! Only so much daylight. Much to do.
Lead the way.
Come.
Grumble, grumble.
Are you ready?
Sure.
What's in store for us today?
You're going to run in dress?
I have other ways of getting around besides in that attire that you have on now, what is it, like shorts? What does he have on?
He has basically like this kind of collection of like leathers and furs
Gym shorts.
that are
Short shorts.
Just Nikes.
just very kind of tribal and
Travel.
yeah, just
run your
they're
shorts.
practical and well made, but they're very
That's the
tribal.
thing where he
feeling.
takes the
Very
cheek
travel
and cuts
for it?
out the
Okay.
armpit.
Does he have
A whisker on his neck.
He's got the
I can move just as fast as you can in your furs, yeah.
This I doubt, but we will see. But today you will be running.
Oh, you gotta run.
So uncivilized, yeah. But I'll do what I need to do, yeah. Was I was a pretty good, jogger back in my school, yeah. One of the best jogger wizards in the whole school.
Did track and field?
Well, we shall find out. Well, as I said, you're to begin running. Now!
Oh, we all run.
Which direction?
Go.
Any direction?
Gee.
And he just points and just expects you to start running.
Start running.
I grab my robe and hold it up and run.
I'm gonna run up in the front with Valen.
Okay.
Just gonna start running a little further back, just keeping an eye on things.
You! Keep with group.
I can see them.
You stay with group.
Okay.
You can see him as he's just, for him, it's like a brisk walk with the size of his stride. It's like for you guys, that's a jog. He's kind of keeping pace pretty easily.
I do want to say, for Asura being the shortest member, she's very good at using like the full length of her legs in a very not dancery, but you can tell that the extension of her leg matters for her because she doesn't have height on her side. So she's like
more of a frolic.
Yeah, it's like a.
So, I want he basically starts to lead you out of the camp into this kind of game trail going through the woods. And anytime any of you start to lag behind or slow down, he is there barking at you to speed up again. Not sparing any sort of comment for anything and stumbling or anything. He just keeps you moving. I would like you all to roll an athletics check.
Oh no!
An exercise check.
Come on.
An exercise check. Yes! I can't even do this in real life.
This is real bad. This is bad.
Hey, what? Nat 20. What?
Okay. All right.
Even though she's not used to running in cold air, she's like, I know what it is to run for your life. Run for your life.
All right. So
Yes.
that's 20.
25.
7.
7.
The dice are on tonight.
7. The two rolled a 7. Guys are running 7.
Yep.
I will say with my nat 20 plus a 1, I have a 21 to my athletics.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, you and Bear have not much problem. This is
Massive height difference.
running while hunting and things like that is not unusual for you either. For you, Valen, this is different because while you are very, very speedy, this is like a marathon rather than a sprint. You're very used to fast bursts of speed, but it's been a while.
Yep.
You did used to get run somewhat like this in training, but it's been a while since you haven't really kept up on this kind of training.
These guys.
Right?
Too many.
Same thing with used to I haven't really trained like this ever. Yeah. And the same thing with easy.
Never
This is
trained like this.
miserable.
I'm over here just holding that stick.
But you still find yourself with some sort of motivation, as anytime you start to slow down, you get a whack on your back from Drail. Almost knocks the breath out of you to get you to keep moving.
It's alright. My legs don't move.
And so you start to feel it. Why don't you roll another athletics check?
Another one good one.
You know
No.
what? Let's try a different one.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
no.
better.
I'll take that.
3.
Better.
Nope. God. Did one better. 7. No.
I turned a corner real fast. I was real confident at the beginning of this run.
16.
16?
Yeah.
All right, so you start to reach inside, trying to remember some of your training for this sort of thing.
Focus my mind. Yeah.
It's still hard, but you're starting to remember some of it and try to get over it a little bit.
17.
Okay, so you're still kind of keeping going at a pretty good pace. Maybe slow down a little bit, but you're still going.
We
pretty
don't
good.
run as Goliaths.
Right.
Yeah, you're very quickly learning. This is not a sprint like you've kind of grown accustomed to.
Also, this air is not helpful. It's cold.
Yeah, the cold is not doing you any favors.
Pierces the lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second win, 17.
Okay.
Keeping the
Yeah,
pace.
so reaching down in deep, trying to pull up something to get another burst of speed.
7. It got a little better. He stepped it up one notch better.
Back is full of scars by the end of the day.
You are quickly starting to regret their clothing choice, as even just the act of holding your robe up, your arms are getting so tired from holding this and trying to keep it up, and you feel your arms kind of drooping, and then you actually trip and fall. And he actually grabs you by the back of your robe and sets you back on your feet and pushes you forward again.
Just for visual, I know it's cold, but is there snow?
Yes, there is.
Your robes suck.
I know.
Yeah, it's like
drenched.
wet, like halfway down, plus parts of sweat and everything like that.
10 pounds of water weight
Yeah.
on those
I was like, oh man.
I'm trying to see advanced training, yeah.
You got your ankle weights on?
That's like, oh, yeah, wait, hold on a second.
I thought this was the Couch to 5K version. I didn't know we were going marathon first day.
Oh my goodness.
He pushes you forward. He's like, perhaps you should have worked out more than one muscle.
I use these muscles the most, yeah.
He does not seem to be doing you good now.
Can I whisper and cast haste on myself? Or?
Lasts like a minute.
You're gonna have a minute. You're gonna be exhausted.
I cast haste on myself.
This training montage is the greatest thing ever.
Oh man.
As you start to do this, as you start to whisper and make the gestures for it and everything like that, you feel his hand clamp around your mouth. And he's like, no cheating! What happens when you run out of magic? And you need to get from one place to another without dying, or to rescue one of your comrades. Your magic only goes so far. If you expend it all, you must be able to rely on other things. Develop other tools. Be honorable.
That's a good point, yeah.
And he shoves you forward again.
That got real.
I'm just at the front snickering.
All right, one more athletic step.
No! Please.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh, Larry, no!
Everyone.
Oh!
13.
Oh, I suck at
10.
this. 2.
6.
We're the best.
I mean, I have a market improvement. I got my win back up to 10.
What was yours again, Bear?
13.
Okay.
Bear's just out here just like getting tired, but he's still feeling it.
Come on, guys. I can't do this all day.
Yeah, Bear, you start to feel it for sure because you haven't been training it, but you are also the strongest of everyone here and more accustomed to the cold and everything else. And you're effectively the only one who's still got anything left by the time you arrive back at the camp. You imagine having run miles. You're not sure how long.
I throw up.
Like, Easy literally has to be carried.
I'm dying right now. It's like crawling on the snow.
As he like leads you guys back, as you're just dragging feet, just sweating in the ice cold winter, just muscles burning. As he arrives back in the camp and then just tosses Easy into a pile of snow.
Yeah, easy. Okay there, bud?
I don't want to do that again. Ever again.
I'm just over there like rubbing Balin's back as he's like throwing up. Hold his hair.
Back, can you give me my pipe? Can you give me my pipe?
Sure, yeah.
I like pick up Easy, drag him inside. Like,
Here you go.
Thank you.
Perhaps this is part of why you can't breathe.
Smoker's lungs, yeah.
It's the only way it numbs the pain.
As I said, you southern people are soft. We will have to make you hard, but it will be a long journey. You're like toddlers learning to walk.
In Infernal, I just say, I'd like to see you run in the sand. Have a foot
I do
race.
not speak this language.
Really, I haven't noticed.
I do not. You have a few minutes to rest before next thing.
Next thing? What's our next thing?
Yeah, and you can also hear as he's talking, he's not out of breath at all.
Yeah,
like
no.
he is fine. Like,
This is just a morning jog.
yeah.
Shall I suggest advanced book reading? I'd be very
Yes, when the Crown soldiers attack, perhaps you can read them to death.
I mean,
Read them bedtime story.
I don't think he reads easy.
One day, I'll teach you some spells, yeah.
I don't need. I am fine, you are not. It tells me what I need to know. So he steps away while you guys get some water and rest and try to recover.
make a quick round of tea for everyone. Get a little boost in our system.
Really go through my stretches.
Yeah, Stokes just walk around with his hands above his head like.
I'm spreading eagle on the ground.
So all our characters are in their like 40s and they haven't run in 20 years. And
You would think.
Sarah's just like, I wear a lot of leather. This chafing is not working for
Oh,
me.
I didn't want to hear that. Alright.
So then, you only get a couple of gulps of tea down, kind of feeling that welcome warmth before, after about 15 minutes, he picks you guys back up and marches you off to a place where some different like boards and obstacles have been set up in the woods that seem to be more oriented around climbing and
more athletic.
other activities like.
Can I use acrobatics? Please let me use acrobatics.
At some points.
Got one skill.
And he basically starts putting you through this obstacle course of sorts.
Lyrandil Ninja Warrior, sure, yeah.
So the first one is basically just kind of climbing up walls and overcoming these walls. So athletics or acrobatics, I will allow.
Oh, heck yes.
All right, acrobatic, here we go.
Still doing it. Still got it.
Whoops, I have two in
They're
here.
the same for me.
They're wildly different for me.
Yeah.
Oh, much better.
All right. What'd you get?
21.
Okay. You're able to make it across the several obstacles without too much issue.
23.
Same thing. Just kind of muscling your way up.
18.
Yep. Same thing. And make it across.
12.
Oh, you're a little slower than the rest of them, but you're able to get up and over.
24.
All right.
All right.
Roll the 19s.
Yep.
Just kind of using your lightness and trying to find this burst of energy, maybe even a little bit of.
Well, panache. I'm gonna
Yeah, a little
lock
like,
eyes
I'm gonna show
with them the
you.
entire time as I flip over.
Go over the wall.
Yeah, you can climb over a thing, but not over the ground.
The ground has linears. The wall has many angles. It's very complicated. I don't explain it and make your brain hurt.
Cannot make my brain hurt by things that make no sense. And you go to the next part. Keep going. The next part involves an acrobatics check as you guys have to basically jump and swing across a variety of platforms that are actually over these kind of pointed rocks that have been set up underneath.
All right.
Where there are parts where you have to jump and swing or like, you know, kind of swinging rings and that sort of thing as you pull over. What'd you get?
24.
All right.
Nice.
So yeah, you're able to continue going.
12.
All right.
12. Yeah, you're barely able to make it over. Just having some trouble, kind of having to swing a couple times on some of the places until you finally get in the right place.
I got 13.
13, yeah, same thing. Just barely kind of working your way over.
That one.
Oh no!
You go to jump at one point to go for one of the ropes that you're supposed to swing, and it's like your grip has just given out, and you just feel the rope burn through your hands as you plant into the pointed rocks at the bottom. As you take
My body's never been my big
4 points of damage from the rocks and the rope.
It's a good thing your neck broke your fall.
What'd you get?
I got a 19.
Okay.
Jesus! Okay.
Good.
I just swing over him like.
Still trying to able to use your brain a little bit more for this, as this is trying to figure out the angles and that sort of thing, trying to calculate a little bit.
Geometry.
Yeah, more geometry, less muscle.
Yeah.
Billiards man.
Yes.
And the final thing is, you see on this particular course is you can see a lattice of ropes have been kind of strung up low on the ground over mud, and he wants you to get through that as fast as possible, to crawl under it. And so,
What is that?
that is going to be another athletics check.
Okay, not acrobatics.
Not for that. Not for crawling through mud. No.
Doesn't matter.
Damn.
Okay.
Asura lived here. Dirty 20.
All right.
Okay.
That's really good.
22.
22.
25.
All right.
15.
Okay.
15 as well.
Whoa! We
We
did
all
it.
make it.
This is one of the hardest ones of the day as you guys are just mucking through this slop and mud and just feeling with your arms and legs that are burning from everything else, just kind of muscling your way through it. Standing up, feeling the weight of the mud covering you now and covering all over your robes.
Yep. I can think. Yep.
Still wet.
But you stand up on the other side and says, "Hey, it's not bad. We'll get better.
Not bad.
We'll get better."
Honestly, I've done that in shit, so frankly, the mud is a drastic improvement.
Well, you look at it that way, that would be a lot better.
It smells significantly less.
You have weird hobbies.
Let's be
Yes, my hobby was crawling in shit. My youth consisted of the hobby of crawling through shit.
Tapings are weird.
Your people are very weird. How do you even have field like this?
Pardon?
How do you even have field like this?
Field?
Ah,
Why do you
of
have a field of
feces.
shit in
It's a desert,
Morocco?
yeah.
Oh, this was in the city.
Ah.
I lived at the bottom of a city of tiered walls. Shit has to go somewhere and it goes down. And if you live at the bottommost part of the city, you're always in shit.
and why you crawl through it?
Because you gotta go find a good hiding place.
Just fight, not hide.
Sure, let me go tell my 8-year-old self to fight grown people.
Also,
Well,
it's
yes,
much
I
safer
know how
for
to
all
fight
of us
it.
if she hides and not fight.
And we stay richer too. We keep our diamonds.
It's okay, we'll teach you how to fight. I fought at 8.
I believe it. That makes sense.
He's
Sarah's
okay.
a little she's a little touchy now. People making fun of the fact that she survived in a place she shouldn't have survived as
Well-
a child, kind of makes her feel a little touchy.
Roll an insight check.
Okay. 14.
Okay. You can tell, he's, first of all, he doesn't fully understand what you're saying.
I got that.
He doesn't
yeah.
really, he's taking it pretty literally.
Yeah.
And just doesn't understand and thinks it's he doesn't understand the mentality. He's just hiding to him is what? Why would you? Just fight. I was fighting since I was,
Yeah. I
Just that
figured
kinda-
I figured it was a case of just not understanding the same cultural touchstone. I'm saying for Asura, it's one of those things where she doesn't really talk about that part of her childhood, so every once in a while it's not funny to her because it is very specific. The memory is very specific, so it's I'm not gonna be mad in front of other people, but I'm really pissed off right now.
Gotcha. He proceeds to take you through the rest of the morning, doing other various exercises, including.
Morning?
God.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's still morning.
Oh yeah.
We woke up at like 5 a.m. Like,
Yeah, I guess
Including,
the sun just started to rise.
yeah.
Lifting and tossing boulders and logs and other kinds of things that are
I'm sorry,
intended as
what am I
like.
tossing?
Yeah, do well with that.
I mean, various sizes appropriate to you, but it's like
Pebbles?
it's very like weight training oriented to
Gotcha.
in order to make you stronger.
There's a gnome joke to be made. Like, how many gnomes can we toss in the air before?
One. I can toss one. I've historically
Whoa.
been proven to toss
It's a
one.
kid show. We don't throw gnomes downstairs.
But we do, literally.
Kind of
Once.
did.
Just, yes, like, yes.
Yeah.
Kid show. We don't do that in public.
Just the ones.
Just the once.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was that strong.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know he was that small.
He's a gnome.
It didn't register.
All right. So, after an exhausting morning of where you feel like muscles you didn't even know you had are hurting, and you're just drenched in sweat, and you're given a chance, you're taken to an ice cold stream a little ways away to wash off mud and sweat and whatever else that you want to, and given just a little bit of time with some food to recover. Anything you want to?
No modesty. Buck naked. In the stream. Laying down. Oh yeah.
It is ice cold water.
I'm fine.
For you, it's not too
I'm
bad.
good.
but-
This is like an ice bath after
Yeah.
training.
Yeah. This is a good day.
I'm doing like you know your pit spritz. Like I'm just getting the mud off of me.
I'm too exhausted to talk.
Just lay at the edge of the
I'm
bank
just
and
sitting there like with my hand.
What have I done? Yeah, I'm crossed like a casting mage hand. The mage hand is just holding my head up. That's all I got in me.
yep, just washing off the mud and sitting there. Yep, that's it.
Okay. So, as you try to sit there and recover and get some food down as much as you can or want to after such exhausting time,
Yep.
he finally comes and collects you again and explains that you will also, this will continue, that you are going to, he's going to whip you into shape, basically. And you will also at some point be given some training around the history of Lyrandil and kind of the like how it's structured and some of the important key figures and that sort of thing. But for now, he is leading you to your individual mentors.
Here we go.
Yep.
So, let's see who's first.
To defeat the government.
All right.
The Lyrandillion.
The Lyran.
Was it Lyrandillion? Is
Yeah,
that what it was?
Lyrandillion.
Yep.
The word is
The
so
crown.
It's a fun
The crown.
Yeah.
The word is so fun. Lyrandillion.
The crown.
Okay.
Did they send me tieflings when I asked for Goliaths?
Excuse you. Excuse you.
So he leads you around back into the camp, and so first he leads you to an area where you see a small group of kind of younger, like teen to 20-year-old kids, basically almost, or young guys who are. One of them is standing in the middle, and he's just sort of like, kind of like his arms kind of curled in a little bit, like just flexing, as two of the others whack him with a staff. And you can just see him as you see another figure dressed in all black standing there, kind of back to you, watching. And you see Drail look to you and says,
Yep.
"Ah, this is for you." And then he just keeps walking with the rest of you.
Just like one final long.
As you stand there and watch this happening, something you've heard of. The Emerald Dragon doesn't really practice it directly, but you've heard of other orders or other groups doing this sort of thing of just basically pain endurance.
Yep.
You see the figure in blacks. His you can see from behind he's just completely bald, with ears that are just slightly pointed, and you see him tilt his head and just slightly, without his mouth moving, you hear, "So the Emerald Dragon has finally decided to join the fight. You are late." And he turns slowly towards you, and you see a man with kind of sharp pointed features and just kind of a little bit lightish, kind of fair skin to him, with a kind of very thin goatee coming down as he turns and looks you directly in the eye. And he says, "But then what can one expect from an order whose leader forsook the affairs of mortals so long ago? What justice can be ensured by an absentee master?" You recognize the robes as this is definitely a monk of the Order of the Shadow Dragon.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of picking up on.
Mortal enemy.
Moral.
I've seen this movie.
Many times. Yeah, enemies join the fight.
Well, I am here now to fight.
We shall see what you are here to do. Before you can be here to fight, you must be here to learn.
And I'm here to learn.
He kind of like looks you up and down very carefully, and he his eyes kind of stop on the symbol of Ixie on your belt. And he says, "So you are so late because you are seeking a god to fight for you. Typical. Perhaps we should challenge King Morthag to a dice contest for the result of the nation. Or perhaps we should flip a coin to decide missions. So easily swayed from discipline, the children of the Emerald Dragon are just that, children."
I think I'd stand up a little bit straighter than I probably have in a long time, because I've gotten a little relaxed with the group. And look him in the eye and, "Are you here to insult, or are you here to teach?"
As I said, we will see. It is not a matter of whether I can be your master, but whether you can be my student. Your order lacks focus. You send your members wandering around the world in search of vagary. You just go wherever you feel like going. But here you will find no vagabond dragons.
Just darkness.
You will find whatever is needed. you be a pupil? Can you recover and learn a discipline you never had?
I think at this point, Bound kind of goes to a place within himself that he hasn't really touched in a while, and it's kind of this resignation, maybe, of understanding that what's going to come over the next however long we're in this thing is going to require decisions that he hasn't had to make, maybe ever. And it's almost like this steely resolve of, I will do what it takes. He doesn't say that. He's that's kind of what's going through his mind right now. Teach.
You see his eyes kind of narrow as he holds your gaze for a little bit. Very well. And he makes a gesture into the ring as you see the other three kind of step aside.
Yep. I take my place.
And he steps into this little clearing with you, and he says, "Then let us see." And you guys begin sparring.
Mm-hmm.
I want you. We're not going to go like completely back and forth for a whole battle, but I want you to just roll an attack roll.
Okay. I'm guessing unarmed, probably unarmed strikes.
Yeah.
On this. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. It's a whole 10.
Swing and a miss.
Yep.
Nice. He rolls here.
I mean, unless he has an incredibly low armor class.
You know, monks, they're pretty low AC, right? Yeah, I know they're not.
He just watches the fist go.
Yeah. Full on like Neo.
Yeah.
I know Kung Fu.
You do not.
Fighting him as you guys start to spar, starting off tentatively and then, starting to kind of fall into that rhythm of combat, you find it actually hard to find a rhythm because while you fought some very competent people and even other monks of your own order, or like Inthris, for example,
Right.
This is, if you can imagine, a polar opposite of the way Inthris fought. This is him. He is elusive and quick and just very economic in his movements, but very tricky. It's like there's feints and
It's like trying to punch a shadow.
yeah, and just even moments where you could have swore his arm was somewhere it wasn't, and then so you try to counter it and find yourself where his fist is like on the other side somehow, and it's like this. You don't know if he's using illusion or what's happening. And there's you basically in the course of this don't manage to land a blow.
Fair.
And he lands a number of them on you. And the whole time he is, as you go to strike, he'll stop periodically and be like, "Turn your feet in. You are not some drunkard." And like, no, and he like as you go to punch, he like grabs your hand and then like forcibly aligns your fingers just slightly differently. He's like, you punch something hard enough, you will break your fists, and then where will you be? And then he pushes you back, and just all these corrections and stuff, like these tiny things that the most people would not notice. Like you don't even know some of the things he's saying. Some of them you do, like you've been taught, but it's just sort of like kind of gotten sloppy.
Yep, got a little slack.
So you haven't been keeping up with this discipline. And then he has you get your sword. I want you to make another attack roll with your sword.
Okay.
And you see him just sort of materialize seemingly out of shadow. You see a staff materialize in his hand as he kind of stands there confident. What's your
23.
23? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I love this. I'm giddy watching this happen.
Okay. With your sword in hand, it's closer, but you are still very clearly facing somebody who is just outmatching you. There are a couple of moments where you actually get a tear or two on his clothing, and at one point you even get a cut on his bicep with the sword. But you definitely take a lot more damage in the process. Yeah. And he does not seem to hold back. Like he is, you could have swore you're breaking ribs at one point, and just when he hits, it's like getting hit by a ton of bricks. Like he just knows how exactly, like his form is like something that easily rivals your master. Like just like that perfect economy of movement and form that maximizes force, and just even if you block, like pushes you back a couple of steps just with the force of it. But it's like even with the staff, it's like even worse that he uses both sides of the staff, so you almost never know where to block, and it's just a constant flurry of motion, like backing up and using the length of his staff to his advantage, while then stepping in and just kind of like almost twisting up your sword and coming down, and it's just a collection of different shifting styles and shifting stances further and close, and even holding it while he just quickly releases it to punch you in the face, and at various times. I'm
sorry, I'm choreographing it in my head.
And at one point you even start to draw on your key, but he stops you. As he explained, the whole point of this lesson is to just focus on your body. I want you to roll a wisdom check for me real quick.
Wisdom. No, 5.
Okay. As you are fighting against this and just getting increasingly frustrated, and you have this kind of crisis in this moment of stress and this moment of frustration, as you can't pull on the thing that you've relied on all this time, this key energy that you've been focused on. Just in this moment of frustration, you start to reach into it in spite of what he said, trying to draw on extra speed to get a hit on him. And he sees this, and you see, and it's almost a split second as you guys share this moment of like eye contact. And as you guys are fighting, by the way, you're in this little area, and there are trees. As the sun is, rising, you're seeing the shadows of these trees going across the opening. And you see, as you guys have this contact, he steps backward into one of the trees' shadows and disappears. And you suddenly feel your world, a sharp pain, and your world go black as you feel the back of your skull cracked with enormous force. And you don't know how long you're out, but eventually you wake up as one of the other rebels that you haven't met is basically kind of tending to you and using some sort of magic to heal you. And just kind of telling you, take it easy. As you see, kind of a short distance away, you see Alcon just standing there again, watching the others fight and giving them instructions.
Okay.
And, you feel, okay, shouldn't have done that. We're going to come back to that.
I was just so excited because you were using short form and long form on the set. In my head, I was literally like, and then you slip into long form, and then you come here and you go here, and then you slip back into short form. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. I got so excited.
Were we able to watch all that, or did we move? Did our
No,
group
you
move
moved on. He just literally dropped. He's like, for you, and then kept you guys moving.
That's
to
what I
your-
wanted to check.
We're on the
Gotcha.
bus and dropped off at our bus stops.
It's the magic school bus.
This quiz is a lot different.
Miss Frizzle's gotten real rugged over the years. She's seen some shit.
She's tired of these kids hijacking her school trip.
Too many times in the intestine. She's seen some shit. Get it?
That was
Thank
good.
you.
No, that
Thank
was
you.
good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good.
Potty healer.
I instantly went to like Road Warrior. Like the bus all just like battle armored up, and like Miss Bristle would like mohawk. Like that would be. I would watch that movie, damn it.
Witnessing.
Oh, this is great.
I know it wasn't Road Warrior, but I was still in that like.
Yeah.
We're going to Valhalla.
On the magic school bus.
Oh man. All right. So as you guys, the rest of you, continue on, he kind of walks you to the edge of the camp and kind of a big field, and you can see this pretty lengthy pasture. You can see targets have been set up at various distances, quite a ways, and you see what looks like a man who's kind of got a hood kind of pulled up and wearing very light kind of woodsy garb with a longbow. And you see him draw and pull with this really confident pull and release as he hits the furthest target dead on. And he looks at you and says, "This is you," and then keeps the group moving.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Have fun, not storming the castle.
And so you see him just kind of continuously drawing arrows and just carefully breathing, releasing, and just hitting these far targets, hundreds of yards away, with amazing accuracy and calmness, but he doesn't seem to even know you're there.
I just take out my short bow and my long bow because I still have the long bow from the hunter guy that I barely used, and then I have my fancy short bow. And I take them both out, put them down next to me, look at the targets, look at one of the closer ones, pick up my short bow, get my arrow, nock it, look at his form, and then try to just imitate what he's doing.
Okay. So you release an arrow. Roll an attack roll. Just see how you do.
So 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. You hit the target, but kind of on the edge. Not the greatest shot. And as soon as it hits, you see him kind of turn. And he turns to look at you, and you just see him kind of startled. And you see this man with kind of strong features and a strong jawline with this kind of well-kept but generous beard. Well-kept and trimmed, but kind of full-face beard. With kind of surprising eyes. His eyes actually, as he turns, like in certain lights, almost look golden. And you see him turn and oh, hi.
Hello. I'm Asura. I am your new student.
Oh yes, yeah, I knew. Yeah, I've been told you were coming.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You remind me of someone I grew up knowing. Well, it's probably not fair because you're probably she was a tiefling too, and you're the second one I've ever known. So
That is a small comparative pool. Was she also purple?
No. She was blue. She was. I kind of grew up seeing her sometimes. Well, and I still know her. She helps with us sometimes.
Oh, really?
You don't see her very often because she's like really good with magic, like destructive magic. So she's gone
Oh.
a lot.
Oh, she blows things up?
Yeah. She's really good at destroying
Yeah.
stuff. But she was very kind to me growing up.
That's nice.
But yeah, I'm Russian.
Gresham, it's nice to meet you. I said I was a Sura. I'm still a Sura.
Sura. That's a pretty name.
Thank you. What is your blue tiefling's name?
Asha.
Aja? That is not as a common a first name. It's of the old tongue.
Is it? Well, I don't know much about tieflings, to be honest. I know she grew up here. Well, not here, in Highwind.
Oh.
Yeah, she was adopted by nobles there. And
I am happy for her.
yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'm supposed to train you.
That is my understanding, yes.
Yeah, I was told you need help disguising yourself.
That is true, yes. I am in a country that does not particularly care for my horns.
That's true. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think I can help with that. I'm sorry. I know I come off as very awkward. That's just the way I am.
I am also awkward, so it's surprisingly very comforting.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's good.
Is this your real face, or are you in disguise right now?
As far as I know, it's real. Yeah. I don't really need to be in disguise here.
You could be very good at it. So good, in fact, that you're constantly a new person.
No,
right?
that's true. I could be lying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole point of being in disguise. It's not knowing what is real.
Do you think I am?
Well, I've never met you, so I have to assume this is your real face until I'm shown otherwise. But
Well, part of this art is knowing when someone's acting or not, even if you've never met them before. Sometimes that's life or death.
can I see if anything about his appearance looks like it's like the beard isn't real, like the hair?
Make an insight check.
Can I do perception instead of insight, or do I have to do insight?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're trying to look for like an illusion, for example, you could do perception.
I think right now I'm just trying to look physically because I know that I'm not very good at insight right now.
Okay, sure.
But I'm at least trying to see perceptively if I can see anything that looks like off. It's my only skill. 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay. Nothing that you can tell seems to be illusory or not like a wig or anything like that. Nothing that you can see. He's got a couple of daggers on his belt that seem to be very kind of practical, like hunting dagger type. Along with a couple other pouches and things like that that just seem that you've seen in like hunters and that sort of thing. The only thing unusual is really a kind of like a sizable haunch of meat that's been strung onto his belt and is just kind of hanging there.
Carrying some meat on your belt, okay.
And again, the only unusual thing is his eyes. That are just something seems unnatural about his eyes.
Can I try to mimic them?
You can, sure.
Yeah,
Do a performance check.
That's really good. 23.
Okay. So as you turn, it's kind of interesting because again, his eyes seem kind of like a hazel normally, but it's like in certain reflections of the light, it looks gold, and so it's an unusual thing to try to imitate. It's not like a solid thing, so it's like you're having to manually try to shift the illusion at certain times. And he says, "Oh, Your eyes just changed.
Hmm.
Are you trying... Are you making fun of me?
No, not at all. I find eyes to be very fascinating. They're the windows to the soul, you know.
I can see that.
So I'm trying to see yours.
What do you see?
You are not as you appear, though visually there is nothing off that I can see anyway. But you are not this. You are something else, I just don't know what.
What do you think that is?
I think it is beyond my knowing yet.
Well, tell me about yourself.
I am Asura. I am a tiefling. I like to stab things sometimes.
Why?
Can't stab me if I stab you first.
So you stab out of fear.
Stab out of a healthy need for self-preservation.
So, do you think that's fear?
I think that's survival. Survival comes with many emotions.
And you enjoy it?
Sometimes.
When?
When the light dies in the eyes. That's when I enjoy it.
Do you enjoy it when it kills them?
Yes.
Always?
Not always, but more often than I care to admit.
When do you not enjoy it?
When there was probably a better option.
And who are you?
I don't have an answer to that question yet.
That can be dangerous.
Yes.
It is good to know who you are before you start imitating other people. If you don't know who you are and you start pretending to be other people, it's not long before you start losing track of what's real and what's not. I've been there.
I've always been what everyone else needed me to be. I don't know what I need me to be.
I can relate to that to a point. But it is important to figure out you. To know yourself. I suppose it's good anyway, but especially, like I said, when you're trying to pretend to be others. And plus, if you learn yourself, if you understand yourself, if you know yourself, you learn the little things that make up someone. Those little things that people would never consciously point out, but are the things that make a persona feel real. So who is Asura if no one needs her to be anything? Take a shot and think about it.
Knock another arrow and suddenly am filled with a lot of conflicting feelings. And it's sort of just like, okay. And I'll shoot another arrow.
Okay, roll an attack.
Oh, okay. 21. Right?
Okay.
650, yeah.
Yeah, so that one's pretty close to the center. Good. It's all right. You're okay. You're safe. Doing something familiar. Shoot another one. Feel the string in your fingers. Feel the tension of the bow. Just be here.
Do we roll another one?
Yeah.
That's going to be a 17.
As he instructs you to kind of feel it and just be present and, you know, feel the air in your lungs and right as you release, he's like, "Who are you?"
I am my mother's daughter. And I am my own love. And my own strength. I am death. I am purpose. I am vengeance. And I am good.
Good.
And I'm a little bit hungry.
That can be good too. Why don't you walk with me? He starts kind of slowly walking you back towards the camp as he says, I was raised in the wilderness by my mother. My father died when I was very young, and she took us into hiding because of what he did, and spent a lot of time in the wild, and as a result, I'm a bit strange. And people who live out in the woods in the middle of nowhere are not very accepted in towns, and like I said, I have a very awkward manner. So even at a young age, I started learning how to try and pretend, to try and fit in. And, you know, I got older and got better, and sometimes it worked, but it was never really me. I am shy. I am awkward. I like to take care of people. It's when I feel the most comfortable. I don't like talking about myself, but I can when I need to. And if I do find a real friend, I'm very protective. I also don't trust very easily, because most people have rejected me most of my life, so that's also made me insecure historically, and I've worked on that a lot, but it's still, I don't think it'll ever completely go away. That's perhaps scratching the surface. But it took me a long time to admit any one of those things, to understand them. But that's necessary, especially if you want to find out where you truly belong. Fitting in is easy. You can learn how to imitate people and learn how to fit in with any group of people if you just watch how they act and imitate them, but finding where you belong, you can't find that if you don't know who you actually are, because belonging is when who you actually are, is home.
I think I relate to that more than I'm willing to admit to myself. I know that I don't want to be the one in the spotlight. I don't want to be the one who makes the decisions, who wears the crown, who stands at the center. I know I want to be the one who supports that person. The person that has to make the big decisions. Who has to carry the burden of notoriety or I don't know, importance at whatever level that is. I don't mean that on the grand scale, even if it's just the person in the center of a group of friends. I don't want to be the one in the center. I also know that I'm willing to compromise a bit more than I think some other people. My moral compass is not quite so strict. And for those people whose moral compasses are strict, they need people around them who have their best interest at heart, but are going to have to make less good decisions for good reason. Someone told me that recently, that is the place that I would fit best. I didn't know if that was true or if they were just telling me that that's what I should do. But I think the more I've thought about it, the more I think for the right person, I'm willing to suffer a little bit. But I won't be anyone's whipping boy or doormat. Not anymore. There is a difference.
I think you'll find a lot of people in this camp who agree with those sentiments.
I didn't know my parents, so I can't say that. I don't know. I've been told a lot of things recently by people who say that they know what they're talking about. And I have to carry all of it with a grain of salt because it is not my knowledge, it is someone else's. And that has really been my entire life, is everyone else's knowledge is given to me. And I have to figure out what is right and what is true. And that is hard because I don't know. I have no context. I just have information. I've listened to so many stories. I've seen so many people. Conflicting opinions about me, about others, about the world. But I've seen so little of it of my own. To know what is right and what is just people's opinions. I can't discern opinion from fact most of the time. And it makes it hard then to figure out who people really are. I can mimic what I hear and mimic what I see, but I don't understand. And it's hard to pretend to be somebody else when you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yes, it can be confusing when a lot of counsel is offered. But someone who can't receive counsel is a fool. But if someone receives too much counsel, then they're little more than a collection of other people's thoughts, and so they're no one at all. I think strength is learning how to receive that counsel with humility, examine it, and take what is good and make it their own. Not just as somebody else's knowledge, but as your own when it's good.
I'm still figuring that part out.
And so am I. That's okay. You never have to do it perfectly.
Good, because I'm far from being perfect.
He walks you, as you guys are talking, you're walking kind of through the camp again as you're seeing this bustle of activity of people in training and crafting and repairing and doing all kinds of other various things. And he actually leads you back. And he says, I think this will be good. And he takes you back to the area where Valen and Alcon are currently sparring. And you guys kind of just stop and kind of silently watch this fight happening. And he says, he kind of leans kind of closer to you and says, what do you see?
Well, I see Valen having a terrible time trying to hit anything right now.
What is he feeling right now?
Valen?
Roll an insight check.
Dirty 20.
What does she see?
So this is where I'm.
This is where you're sparring with him, yeah.
Is this the
This
part
is
where
before you got knocked out?
And this is the part where he's told me not to use my key, and
Yeah, this is still hand to hand.
oh, this is still hand to hand. This is before the sword. I think at this point there's still this kind of there's a mixture. So there's a steely resolve at the beginning, depending on where you're actually seeing this, because he's kind of gone to this place of emotionless. But I think as he continues to not be able to really land anything, you'll see little micro expressions of frustration, of feeling inept, like unable to do something, unable to do this thing that he's relied on and has been pretty good at doing for a while now, and having someone be significantly better than he is at it. And it's a little frustrating. And depending on how long you stay, it'll be a lot frustrating, but yeah. It's probably what you're seeing right now.
I just point out he's clenching his jaw right now, which means he's definitely in I'm going to hit something mode. That's what he always does when he's about to hit something, is he clenches his jaw. I don't even think he notices that that's what he does, but he always clenches. It's just like you see the muscle right there just go, and it's usually because he's trying to be all like meditative and whatnot, but he's kind of pissed he's not doing it. And he kind of feels a little kind of like inept. Like he can't, like he's not actually, like I think he's a little bit embarrassed that he can't do the thing that I've only ever known him to be good at. And I imagine that he's very passionate about his fists, you know? I don't know, I don't think I've ever noticed him feel that way before. He doesn't really express his emotions very much to me. Well, probably more to me than anyone else, but even then, he's usually very steely when he fights. But it's breaking a little bit in this situation.
And what do you see in his teacher? Roll an insight check.
5.
This feels right.
Yeah,
Story.
of course I would know. I would be
Yeah.
able to read Valen's micro
Oh,
expressions.
absolutely.
I've literally cuddled with this human
Travel for months.
for months.
You see him as he's doing this, and you see him just constantly making little quips and corrections, but also these little insults and you know, like disdain, and he is not kind in any sense.
He is a very strict teacher, making corrections but not being nice about it.
Just then you hear him say, like, perhaps the best way to fight is to disappear for 1,000 years.
He's kind of an asshole. I don't, he's very, I can see he's moving very, like, quick.
Mm-hmm.
He moves very fast and very precisely. With very clean movements. I don't know. I don't know what else I'm looking at. I can't read the face.
It is not just about the face. It's about his words, his tone, his breathing, his body language, even in a fight. Micro expressions on his face. The way he carries himself. And even the things you can't quite put your finger on. I know Alcon better than you, obviously. And I see someone who wholeheartedly believes that there is no room in this cause for weakness, who has dedicated himself to this cause, and if someone wants to learn from him, he will teach him. I don't know a whole lot about the history between their two orders, but at the heart I see someone who probably doesn't actually disrespect the Emerald Dragon himself, but more the children who he doesn't feel honor him. He is a very respectful person, and I cannot see him truly disrespecting a creature like the Emerald Dragon. But he will broker no weakness of any kind, inside or out. And what I see, and I could be wrong, you know your companion better than me. I see above all hurt pride and the slow realization of his own mistakes. The hardest thing to face is a mirror. Alcon is a very harsh mirror.
Reflections are scary when they're true. Then I take back what he said about him being an asshole. Although what he did say was kind of asshole-like.
You see him kind of small, and he says, no, he can't be.
But I can understand sometimes you have to be the one who gives the tough love. Especially in a place like this, in a time like this. This is not a slow burn.
Well, let's go find you something to eat. And you start to turn as you see a pause in the... As you start to turn away, there's a pause in the fight as Alcon, says... as Alcon is kind of circled, kind of close to you guys, and he just kind of notices you out of the corner of his eye, and he says... so you have brought weak friends to fight as well. And you hear just almost in this you almost don't even see it happening, but in a blur of motion, you hear this like, as you see Resham's bow smack into his chest, and just like hold there, almost like a sword, like threatening, as Resham says, Alcon, you can instruct your students any way you like, but you will talk to my students with respect.
Mr. is in love. Anyone who mildly defends her or keeps her safe. This is the weakness of not knowing who you are. You'll fall for everyone.
And you see Alcon in a surprising manner. The first time you've seen him do anything like this, but he doesn't look down at the bow. He looks directly at him and kind of turns toward him, and then just kind of gives this little bow, and then goes back to beating up Alan.
Thank you.
Of course. He goes and he gets you some, just like some soup, like something light. Probably want to eat light for the first week or so. I know how Drail can be. She'll do better if you eat better.
Thank you.
Speaking of eating, and he kind of has you take the bowl and walks you back out, out into the woods just a little bit, and then he takes off he undoes and takes off the kind of large haunch of meat, and you hear him just sort of whisper something under his breath, and suddenly materializing out of the air in this shimmer of gold in front of you, you see roughly the size of a horse.
What?
A dragon.
That is a sort of real sound. A mixture of like shock, surprise, terror.
Has a just shimmering gold scales, sleek dragon just sort of materializes in place and then snatches at the meat out of his hands as he just gulps it down like 2 bites. And you see Resham just kind of like run his hand down its neck, and this is Ether.
Ether? Hello?
He probably won't speak to you. He really only speaks to me in my mind.
We have...
He's not a true dragon. He's a drake.
Drake? Mm-hmm.
Sort of related, but...
Mm-hmm.
It's Ether after my father.
The one you had to run away from?
No, I didn't run away from him. He died, and we had to run because of what he did.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood the order of events. You could have warned me you were about to summon a giant beast. Ooh.
I suppose I could have.
I guess where's the fun in that? What color are the drake's eyes? Are they the same like gold as his?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I figured that's where that comes from.
Sort of. To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure the Drake's relationship to all of this is that he came to me. But my mother, before I was born, my mother lived in Garen, in the hills, and that's where she met my father. My father, who was friends with Northic Shaydagger, father of the current ruler of Karen. It was after the unified decree came out that my father fought with Northic against the New Order, the Crown, and died in battle. And it was a very tragic day, because it's not often that you see a gold dragon die.
You are Dragonborn.
No, that's something else. Dragonborns are their own race. It's different. I'm half dragon.
Then you are born of dragon.
Well, yeah, technically. But like Dragonborn is...
No, I understood.
It's a different thing.
I was trying to make a joke. It didn't land. It is alright. It was meant to be funny. Haha.
Well...
What was your father's name? Ether.
Either.
I put two and two together.
Anyway, like I said, you can see I've had a lot of challenges learning how to fit in and learning how to read people, aside from reading danger from being an outsider visiting places and having to know when somebody's got the worst intentions.
Yes.
So I will do my best to help you and help you figure out how to, be in Lyrandil without, drawing too much attention.
I appreciate that. And I will do my best to be a student that is not resistant to that information.
I think you'll be great.
Thank you. Can I touch your Drake?
Of course. If you want to lose your hand.
Oh. I'm just gonna...
That was a joke.
Ethan, can I put my hand upon you? I don't know if you'll respond, but I'm gonna ask anyway because I don't want my hand to not be there when I remove my arm.
You'll be fine.
Okay. I'm gonna pet the Drake.
Alright, so as you pet him and eat and continue on,
You could have that kind of relationship if you weren't such a dick.
Wow.
That's like Danny telling Chris that. 'Cause
Yeah.
Stoics on none of that.
Oh, man.
Jeez. Woo! Let's go. I like shed a small tear. I'm like, Chris can have that.
Well, the China was a dick to me first. It's a bigger dick.
okay. So, as Drael continues moving the group through, you see, as you guys walk, you see a group of rebels kind of ride in, and it's quite obvious that they are just coming from some sort of battle. Just lots of wounds and just kind of tired and dirty. As they dismount and start, kind of settling, getting their horses taken care of and that sort of thing, Drael says, "Ah, this is you," and then takes you guys off.
All right.
As you watch this group, you see one of them kind of looking at you, and kind of standing out from the others is a woman who is relatively short, even by human standards, probably 5'4", 5'6", something like that. with these sort of muscular features. Although she's very slender, she's also clearly strong. With this, like undershaven, the sides of her head kind of shaven and her hair kind of pushed off to one side, with a tattoo that kind of goes up her neck and like up right above her eye. And you can't tell exactly what it is, but it's almost like a tribal creature of some sort, whether it's like a bird or a dragon or something. Kind of going up over her with a enormous greatsword strapped to her back. And you can see kind of on one arm is like kind of fully armored, whereas the other one is bare. And you see just like some slashes, and she's got some scars and different places and everything like that, and just a tough as nails woman as she kind of eyes you up and down, and as she like is kind of securing her horse and getting things off of it and that sort of thing. And she looks at you and she says, so you're the new recruit?
Yeah. Bear with me. Nice to meet you.
Bear with you for what?
What do you mean? That's my name. I'm Bear with me. What?
Well, that's an unusual name.
Thank you.
Wasn't a compliment.
Oh, alright. Are you... Wait, they didn't tell me anything. And you are?
Shaylara. You can call me Shay.
Shay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a pretty nice name. Not unique or common, just it is.
You having trouble talking?
Yeah, apparently.
Has no one ever taught you how to speak like a warrior?
How do you speak like a warrior? Just...
Well, not like that.
Oh.
Steal up that tongue. There's no room for softness here.
Okay, sorry.
You see, as she has like a very kind of like quick, like hastily, put bandage on a very bloodied arm on her bicep and everything like that, with other wounds and stuff like that. As she's like, "Well, come on then." And she kind of leads you off as she hands off the horse to somebody else who kind of takes them and looks off to the horses and stuff like that, and says, "So, why'd you join?"
Oh. Honestly, because my friends wanted to join.
I just thought it'd be a lovely time with your friends out and
Well, I didn't want to join.
risking your life in rebellion against some of the most evil people in the world.
Like I said, I didn't want to join, but where they go, I go.
You didn't want to join.
Yep.
Real strong start. So, why these people?
Like, why my friends?
Mm-hmm.
We've been through a lot together, and it seems that the gods have a mission for us.
How they do?
Yeah?
Why do you think that?
I can't tell you. If I told you, I'd probably tell you too much, and then I'd get yelled at.
So you're keeping secrets from a secret rebellion.
Yes.
Just going swimmingly.
Such a good conversation.
So
On point.
Oh no, absolutely.
so good.
We're gonna come back to that.
Good luck.
Oh, I won't need it.
Okay.
I don't believe in luck.
Oh boy.
I believe in hard work.
Now that I agree with you on.
But I hope so. So you'd consider yourself loyal then?
Yeah.
That's good. Maybe. It's only good if you're strong. The loyalty of an ant is not worth much.
That's not true. Loyalty is strong regardless of how strong you are.
No, but it's only worth something if you're strong. You've got to be valuable to them for your loyalty to mean something.
Wow. Okay.
So if you want to be, you love them, you care for them, you want to take care of them, you want to protect them, be strong for them.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. No, let's do it.
You're a paladin?
Yep. Silver Flames.
Who?
Silver Flames?
Don't know them.
Oh. They're from Northfire. What's that country called? That's right next to us. It's right below the.
Well,
Yeah, spires, the mountains.
Yeah.
the
what's that
World
place?
Thorns?
World Thorns.
It's not really a country, it's just an
region,
area.
yeah.
So not very well.
But there's a
ruled.
country right below that we went into a little bit. Or is it
The
all part of
Ultralands?
World Thorns?
Yeah, the world. Well, Northfire is like way up north. That's the top one.
Oh, okay.
Then there's the World Thorns that go all the way down to like the Helterlands, and
Oh, so that is the World Thorns.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, go for it.
yeah, they're in the.
Oh, it says World Thorns?
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
All right, and who they worship?
Well, a bunch of gods. A long
Bunch of
time.
gods?
Yeah, a
So
long
you
time.
couldn't make up your mind.
Well, see, a long time ago, a group of gods got together and saw that other gods knew they needed a way to discipline their followers, and so we became the order that makes sure other orders are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. So you run around spanking priests, then?
We don't spank them, but we discipline them. Yeah.
Well, I'm a paladin as well,
Oh, okay. And who do you
but
serve?
I'll tell you, you ain't gonna be spanking me.
Well, don't do anything wrong.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
We'll see.
I think that's the point. If you're not strong enough, it doesn't really matter, does it? What if I was doing something wrong? It wouldn't matter unless you could overcome me, huh?
I couldn't stop you if that's what you're asking.
Wasn't that the point?
Yeah, but I have friends.
And if they weren't strong enough to stop me?
I mean, yeah, we could. If we're not strong enough, we can't stop you. But there is a point in trying.
This is what's wrong with all the other gods.
What's that?
Y'all believe in weakness too much.
I don't think it's weak to try and fail. It's weak to let the strong guy do what he wants to just because you can't stop him.
Look, trying is nice and all. It's nice. It's a nice idea. But it's better to be strong enough to actually stop evil.
Again, we agree. I'm here to train. I want to be stronger.
I hope so. You say you worship them all.
Sorry, say it again?
You say you worship them all.
No. Worship is a strong word. I follow the orders of them all.
A paladin doesn't worship gods.
I have a close affinity to Ildris and Morin.
Ildris not bad. Sort of fitting for your kind. Winter's harsh. It's a good training ground.
Yeah.
Not the fuzzy wishy-wash of... I'm not so much on the fuzzy wishy-wash of, home and all that.
Yeah, I'm getting that. That makes sense.
Morin I'm all right with. I've sent a lot of people to meet her.
Yeah. I bet you have.
Well, I worship Malkurian.
Malkurian? Pull it up. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with
I
that.
don't just sort of flirt with him or, say that I follow some of his orders when I kind of feel like it. When I don't feel like following the other 14, I actually follow this god. It's Malkurian, the god of war.
Okay. Were you raised that way?
No.
Found him later.
You could say that. But he's also the god of fire, strength, and incidentally, loyalty.
Let's see. So loyalty is very big for you.
The right kind, yes.
Why is the wrong kind bad?
We'll take this group of people that you've joined so willingly. If I'm truly committed to these people, these Karmad Drums, if you will, what good am I if I'm lazy? If I don't make myself strong, if I don't make myself a valuable part of this group, then I'm just a burden. My loyalty isn't worth much at all. In fact, it's probably worse off if I wasn't loyal. They would be better off if I wasn't loyal.
I see.
Again, loyalty is only good if those who are loyal are worth something.
Is there only one way to be strong?
Oh no, there's a number of ways.
I see your point. I do. There's no... It's better to help than to be a burden. Again, I agree with you on that part.
Well, I'm glad. Well, I am going to teach you.
I'm willing to learn.
Right. We'll see. Why don't we start, you can kind of see, like, she's kind of like, you know, see her eyes narrow as you can kind of see the wheels turning as she's kind of assessing, and I bet you're used to swinging a sword and axe or whatnot. I see multiple weapons. That's good.
Yeah. Swinging is my specialty.
I see. And what about up here? And she kind of taps her forehead.
I don't headbutt people a lot, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, you're kind of answering my question. And what about here? And she taps your chest.
I use that all the time.
What do you mean?
My heart or my chest?
Your heart. Your soul.
All the time. To stay in the fight. To protect those need protecting.
That's part of it. All right, come over here. And she kind of leads you off the path, you know, a little ways away from anybody, and has you kneel down in the snow, like kind of both knees, and she does the same opposite of you. And she kind of like takes off her like enormous sword and just kind of sets it on her chest, because it would not be comfortable sitting down like that, since the sword is, you know, like taller than she is. Like, it does not seem like the kind of sword someone of her size would normally use. But you can also see, while it's well made, it is also very well used. It is not used in the, like, it's crappy in any sense. It's very obviously well cared for and taken care of, but it is seen a lot of action. And she says, all right. Malkurian is about war, but there's a lot more to being a warrior than just swinging a sword. There are three principles, primary principles. There's a lot of wisdom to be had for a warrior, but there's three in particular that I'm going to drive into your head for the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
First, there's sort of a misguided idea of courage. We have a proverb, be afraid and do anyway. Means courage is not being afraid. If you're not afraid, you're probably stupid. But the truth is this, there is no such thing as courage. Only a fool doesn't know how to be afraid. And those strong enough, there's only the fool who doesn't know to be afraid, and those who are strong enough to step into the fear. And you gotta say, fear is useful if you know how to use it. Tells you how to protect. It reminds you to be smart, to use this, and she reaches up and taps her forehead again. It tells you what to defend against. Instead of just running in with this, and she grabs your bicep and kind of shakes it. All that being said, there's no better way to do this than to accept your own death. You are mortal, and you are going to die. Whether by the sword, or by disease, or by old age, which would be a shame. If you can accept your own death, then you will start to have what it takes to do what you need to do. But if you're scared of death, you're not going to be able to get it done.
I don't know if scared is the right word. But I need more time
For what?
to accomplish what I need to accomplish here. Once I'm dead, my mission's over.
And how do you prevent that?
How do I prevent?
Death from coming too soon.
Be around good people. Stay strong. Stay well equipped. Stay ready.
It's all part of it, yeah. You just have to be stronger than the thing that's hunting you.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Even when you don't know what's hunting you. Well, I guess the question is, how do you be stronger than what you don't know is out there?
Well, that goes back to what you said, as being prepared. That's why you always have to work to make yourself as strong as you possibly can in every way that you possibly can, so that whatever comes at you, you're ready for it.
I see.
Even on the battlefield where you think you know what you're gonna face, it never goes the way you think it does, right?
Oh, never.
Every battlefield is different. Every battle is different. Every enemy is different. Every friend is different. You'll never know. That's why you have to make yourself as strong as possible, because that's the one thing you can control. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about friends and love, then another maxim we have is that love is strong. If you love your children, you'll protect them. If you love your wife, you'll protect her. If you love your friends, you'll risk your life for them. If you love your nation, your tribe, your God, maybe not in your case, you'll risk it all for them. And weak love is not love at all. It's only love if you're willing to pay the price for it. That's why warriors are needed. You cannot have peace without blood. You cannot have happiness, safety, joy, freedom, anything good without swords standing between them and the darkness of the world that wants to consume them. You've got to step up And you've got to be that sword, be that shield, be that vengeance upon darkness that keeps it in check. Because evil never stops coming. Like a tide that just recedes briefly before it comes again in full force. But if love is strong, then it is also loyal. And love that isn't loyal isn't love. That's why you should be careful who you throw in with. But once you do, be loyal. And be a man that they can rely on. I'm glad you're loyal to your friends, but you also joined us. And you need to be loyal to us as well. I need to know that I can trust you on the battlefield, just like you need to know you can trust me.
I'm here. I understand your doubts. I do. But I'm here. I've seen what they've done. I understand they're evil. But I do have my doubts. But I will protect your back and anyone else in this camp as long as I can.
Mm-hmm. You've filled me with confidence.
Well, good.
The third principle is to own your own sword. And I don't just mean your physical blade. You cannot control the rest of the world, but you can control yourself. If you learn how. You must discipline yourself. You must master yourself. Only then can you hope to overcome the most powerful of enemies. Mastering yourself means facing the parts of you that you do not like, that you're ashamed of, the parts of you that you're terrified somebody's going to find out. It means facing your anxiety, your incompetence, even your capability for evil. Mark my words, every single one of us is capable of evil. And you cannot master this by running from it. It will come out like a tiger in the grass, pouncing when you are most stressed and least expected, when it will probably do the most damage. You have to face it now in the calm so that you might tame it. You have to understand it has to be tamed, not killed. You do not extinguish the monster, you tame it and let it loose when you command it. You have to understand your capability and wield it like a sword for the right thing. In short, it's not that you don't become a monster, it's that you become a monster for the right reason and doing the right things. But you can't help anyone if you're not dangerous.
How do you tame evil? The evil inside you, I guess, more specifically.
Not the evil, it's the capability for evil. The capability to do dangerous and horrible things. That dark part of you. The part you don't want to admit exists. You tame that capability so that you don't do evil. You unleash it on evil.
This is what Valkyrian teaches.
Part of it. Let me ask you this. You said Idris took you on a mission, right?
Yes.
And you saw. How do you feel about it?
Furious.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't seem very angry.
Well, because we're here training. You're not the enemy.
Tell me about this fury. When you saw what was happening, what they were transporting, what did you feel?
Sadness. Pity. Anger that the prisoner couldn't see or wouldn't see what he was doing. He gave us a sob story, and I don't know how true it is. But if a part of it's true, he was just as trapped. Well, he could have made a lot better choices, but yeah, so the odds were stacked against him from the beginning as well. Someone has to pay for this. I just don't know who that needs to be.
Well, for starters, he did. His choice was to be weak, to not take a stand. That is the kind of evil that weakness leads to. Someone who's willing to do things like that and then hide behind excuses, hide behind ignorance. But chosen ignorance is not the same thing as just not knowing. Chosen ignorance of evil is evil. That's chosen weakness. It's despicable.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You're Mare's sister, right? I mean, brother. Mare is your sister, yes.
That is correct. Yes.
She told me what happened to your mother, or to your father and your brothers. Are you angry about that?
I was.
But not anymore.
I don't like to think about it.
No. The rest of the bloody weak world tries to hide and suppress. They're not honest with themselves. And even if they were, they couldn't handle it. But that's part of why we end up with the world we have. People don't know how to harness their aggression and to be honest with themselves about it. And about what they are, about what's inside. You have to be honest and face it. Think about it. Close your eyes and go there. Your father was a good man, but now he'll never provide another meal. He'll never protect another child from wolves. He'll never repair another roof. He'll never tell his children another bedtime story. He'll never teach his children another lesson about how to live in this insane world. Your brothers will never see their potential realized.
Yeah, and we took care of the monsters that did that, and they're still not back. Yeah, we took care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Justice was done, but not really. My mom's still alone. My sisters still don't have husbands.
Yes. She and your sisters and you were left without them.
Yeah.
To figure things out on your own, and that's still true this day. How do you feel?
I mean, it sucks. Shouldn't have happened. I should have been there. If I could have stopped it, I don't know, maybe I could have been the deciding factor. I don't know how it went down, but they were alone. I wasn't there with them when it happened. We could have stopped it. Maybe, I don't know. We got him back. What's the point of being angry if you got him back and nothing changed?
Because things like that are unjust and deserve wrath. It's not wrong to be angry at that. But it is wrong to let that anger, to shove that anger deep down inside, let it fester and become something you can't control. You're not wrong to feel the pain. You're not wrong to feel the anger, the fear. None of those things are wrong to feel. It's only wrong to ignore it and run from it.
I don't like feeling that way.
No one likes the pain of growth.
That doesn't help me swing my sword any truer in a battlefield.
It will.
You just live angry?
No. That's the beauty of being able to control it.
How do you control this?
That's what I'm going to teach you. And she actually reaches up and she puts her hand on your shoulder, like with a kind of firm grasp, like looking you in the eye, and she said, "This is good. We're only beginning. We're going to face this together, and I'm going to teach you what it means to be a true warrior inside and out."
Is Mare okay? You've talked to her. She okay?
She's doing well, if that's what you mean.
Does she live with this anger?
You'll have to ask her.
I will.
Now that you're feeling all this, now let's go see how you swing your sword. And she actually has you mount up, and you can't help but wonder. It's like she is clearly injured, just returning from a mission, and yet she is just still just full steam ahead. Like she is just tough.
Okay.
Don't cheat on your new girlfriend with Shay.
What new girlfriend?
Y'all are petty.
I'm just kidding.
She leads you. She actually leads you pretty far out. Eventually connecting to a road where you guys wait, and eventually you see kind of a smaller patrol of Crown guards start to pass by. And she says, as they're approaching, she kind of whispers to you, and she says, "Now, as you fight, reach down deep inside and pray to Malkurian. Ask him for strength, but more than that, pray with these emotions that you're feeling. I want you to send up your anger to him, the righteous kind of anger. I want you to feel the pain of the injustice you've seen and felt, and I want you to fight in that prayer of the heart." And she just you see her reach back and draw this enormous great sword, still wielding it kind of easily, surprisingly easily. And she says, "Go." And you guys go. Just roll an attack roll with whatever weapon you're going to use for this.
Probably Sable for the most of it.
11. Okay.
Let's go on their first try.
Yeah.
As you do, it's like you find yourself kind of distracted. you found it's like in your fights so far, there's been sort of autopilot, a sort of comfort zone of fighting that you didn't realize was there, but you realize now that you're out of it, and that as you're trying to think about all these things and you're just feeling all these emotions that you haven't accessed in a while, it's a lot more wild. Unfortunately, these soldiers are not much of a match for you guys. And so you make relatively quick work of them, but you still can't help but feel at the end of it kind of that sloppiness of it, and the wild swings, and the kind of aggression at times of just kind of wild rage and things of that nature. And you don't notice as much as you might normally would, but you still do notice that she seems to, the way she uses her sword is not just about strength, but about economy of movement, of like the placement of the sword, and how she just kind of manipulates it in just the right way to parry things and get inside guards and stuff like that, and with the occasional like intentional massive swing to behead one of them, and
Okay.
like it was nothing. But for the most part, it's pretty impressive how she manipulates and manages this oversized weapon. And you just see this look of ferocity on her face as she fights. It's just full conviction. There is no hesitance. There is no... it's not blind rage. It's like this determined, focused ferocity. It's like something you haven't really quite seen before, and kind of makes you curious, of at least being curious as to what this is. It's not the self-control of a monk, and it's not the rage of just blind, ferocity that you've seen in other things. This is something different. And as you make quick work and kind of stand there, panting, as the blood is kind of dripping off your weapons, she kind of kneels down and then just kind of takes it through the snow to clean off the sword of the blood real quick, and like sheathes it back over her back, and says, she kind of looks at you kind of very intensely for a moment, just kind of like reading your eyes, and good. How do you feel now?
Different. Bad. Different. Like I was fighting... Like I should be fighting with my left hand, but I was fighting with my right hand instead. Felt off. Like I said, I don't like accessing my anger when fighting. Not typically how I do things. Like you kind of look at the bodies and just kind of have a moment of like wonder, like who were these men? Like why did we just kill them? I don't say this out loud, but I kind of just look at their bodies and kind of stare at the wounds a little bit.
Good. You're willing to open the door. Now we'll teach you how to control what's inside, or what's behind the door. And she slaps the side of your arm with kind of a hefty, friendly hit.
Yeah.
And says, "This is a start."
You're not what I expected, Shalar.
Is that a good thing?
I think so. Yeah. We'll see, but I think so.
Fair enough. Let's go back.
Alright. Do we need to do anything with the bodies? We good?
Oh no, we need to leave them.
Oh.
It's a sign.
Got it.
You turn around, leave them behind. You do take the horses back as you collect them and take them back, as that's valuable. But the bodies you leave as a continued warning and sign of you know, you like just like what Drail did
Yeah.
and everything like that is this is part of the game to them.
Okay.
And so she leads you back to the camp to continue talking and training. And that's where we're going to take a break.
All right.
I love longsword. I can't help it. Once you start talking about fight stuff, I was like, in my head, I'm like, and then you can do this, and then.
I'm glad you got that, teacher. I don't know what Stone would have done with that.
What would you? I don't
That
know.
would not have been a good place for him.
I was like,
Maybe it would have been the best.
I
yeah.
don't know.
I was like, she's talking truth. She's talking truth right now.
Oh man.
All right. So we will take a quick break to get a drink and everything else. So 10 minutes or so. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Hope you had a good break. As the party is kind of meeting their mentors and getting some lessons and seeing what they're like, we will continue on. So, as
I know.
Yours is gonna be funny. I have no idea what to expect with yours.
Yeah. And then there were two.
I don't know what's coming.
two. All right.
We met her last night.
did.
Her name is
Briefly, yeah.
Calaris.
Caladris.
Calaris.
Caladris.
Caladris.
Like Caligari.
You know, like how there's a D right there that I skipped over every time I tried to say that name.
Calaris.
All right. So as he walks you two and continues on going through the camp, you see you approach a what looks like a makeshift blacksmithy, like just with some tarp over the top, but you can see like an anvil that's maybe a little smaller than the typical one you've seen, just for moving sake and everything like that, with some mobile setup for. Basically being able to take the whole thing with a little bit of effort, being able to take the whole thing and move it, load it up onto a wagon and move it. And you can even see a wagon kind of backed up to the side with various materials on it and everything like that he seems to be kind of operating out of. And you see as he's just, hitting what looks to be a sword in very, very early stages of sword making. You also see a couple of women kind of sitting to the side watching him, and Drail walks you up and says, "This is you.
Oh.
Come, weakling." And he takes it easy.
I guess I'm a blacksmith now. I walk towards the blacksmith to observe from closer.
Okay. So you walk up, and as he does his work and everything like that, and after a moment, he kind of notices you and looks up and yes.
I don't know. I'm here for training, and to be honest, this isn't the kind of training I thought I was going to get, but I mean, whatever.
No one told me about an apprentice.
Of course.
They didn't tell me about blacksmithing, but Sora will like it, so I guess.
I don't know what you're talking about. He just looks thoroughly confused as one of the women sitting to the side says, "Oh, don't worry, honey. Just go back to the work. Why don't you come over here and chat with me?"
Wait, you're my teacher?
Yeah, you look over and you see an older woman, kind of slender build, but and not elderly, but older, like kind of coming on years, but looking half elf. And so you would know she's even older.
Really old.
Yeah, for a human, you'd probably guess 50s, but for half elf, that's gonna be quite a bit older. With some silver in her hair and this kind of long, straight brown hair with streaks of gray. That's somehow not unattractive for being older. With kind of a smallish face, but still kind of a slightly strong jawline, and these kind of greenish blue eyes. She kind of looks at you with this sort of serene look, and you see she's wearing a very simple gray dress that's not too unlike what you've seen in Lyrandil at large, except for a holy symbol of children. You see sitting beside her is what looks to be a young gnomish woman with this large kind of fur. You don't know if it's a hat or a cloak. It's kind of both. It's like it kind of wraps around her head. I don't even know what animal it is, but it's this big kind of poofy, furry thing that goes, like all the way down her back. It's like this thick.
Is it like those hats with the scarf things that you can put your hands in?
No, it seems to be kind of one roundish piece,
Okay,
but it just
okay.
is like around her head and down her back, like big enough that she could wrap herself up in it if she wants, but is not. And otherwise, very simple and woodsy, very kind of natural feeling garb. She's just kind of like has this sort of almost dazed look as she's just watching the blacksmith as the older woman, like kind of pats the bench beside her.
I sit down. I guess I drew the short straw.
What do you mean?
Well,
Good start.
it's not what I imagined, I guess. Am I learning blacksmithing?
And she kind of looks back at the blacksmithing and says, I suppose you could say that in a sense.
Okay. I mean, I do truly want to help the resistance in any way I can. This isn't where I thought I would be of most use.
Where did you think you would be?
On the front lines, to be honest.
Do you think he's any less useful than those on the front lines?
Not at all. Without his help, the ones on the front line would surely perish. I don't degrade his profession at all. I find it quite respectable. It's not really where my talents lie.
And you said your talents lie on the front lines?
Maybe not as well as I'd like, but that's the direction I'd like to go.
Is that all?
I mean, there's more to it, but yes. I want to be able to protect others and fight in their place so they don't have to.
And she kind of like looks at you with this sort of shrewd kind of look, and I could be mistaken, but you look like someone who's been through quite a bit.
You wouldn't be wrong.
And she kind of looks back at the blacksmith and she says, well, what have you learned along the way in all that you've been through?
Well, most recently I've learned that below second chances. And that I must strive to be better if I want to prove worth of other sacrifices.
Redemption.
Yes.
It's a hard lesson. One we all have to learn. Now tell me, what's been your favorite experience?
Well, as much as I talk about fighting, it's been the moments when we're not. The quiet times that I have with my companions.
Sounds nice. What's been the most difficult? Mind you, not the most painful. That's different. What's the most difficult experience so far?
Learning how helpless I can really be. And depending on the ones that I care about the most. And worrying if they might have to make sacrifices in my place.
A few things are more humbling.
Very true.
What's been the most painful?
The sacrifice that was made.
No?
Let's just say I owe someone a great debt.
When you look at all these things, the good and the bad from these experiences, do you regret this journey you've been on?
No. I do wish that I would have been better in many trials that I faced. But I wouldn't call it regret.
I like watching blacksmiths. I love watching ugly, smelly old ore, little more than rock, dug out with blood and sweat, completely unattractive. How it's melted and processed and broken down completely so it can be purified. The light of the melted ore reflected off all the various surfaces around it. Destroyed almost completely to where it has no strength at all. It's beautiful in its own strange way. And even though it would hurt you severely if you were to touch it, you sort of want to. And then it's molded. And then after they give it just a brief moment to cool, they whack it. Over and over and over and over again. And when they feel like they've beat it up enough on one side, they turn it over and start on the other. It's poor metal. After a seeming eternity of beating, the poor metal gets a respite in cool water, and then it's held against a grindstone. Little bits of it are shaved off with heat and rough stone grinding against it. That's how it gets sharp. And then even more unpleasantness as it's polished and finished, finally to be joined with its hilt, finally finding its place. A beautiful, terrible weapon that is finally useful and stunning. Are we not the same? our painful experiences are probably even more important than our happy ones. And perhaps that's why we remember them so much better. And why bad memories stick with us so much longer. The gods gave us minds that would not easily let us move past a chance to grow.
Those are wise words.
Perhaps. I think they get wiser the more you think about them. That's why I still try to think about them every day. Because it's really hard to remember when you're being whacked. When you're being held up against the grindstone. When you're being melted until you're nothing. And all your strength is drained away. It's hard to remember then. That's why memory is so important. Do you try to remember what's important?
I'd like to think so.
You're in the middle of a war and you've probably seen a lot of battle, but are you at peace inside?
Not complete. It was far better than I was.
She suddenly stands up and says, "Why don't you follow me?"
This is the older woman, right? Okay.
She says, "Come along, Cebu." You see the gnome kind of hop up and stop for a second, and the little gnome is like, "Oh, are we gonna go think?"
Is she shorter now?
Oh yeah, she's a gnome. She's very short.
Like now that she stood up.
Yeah, she like had to hop down from the bench, and you know, she's a little more than like 3 foot. You know, she's very small. And Lenora, as you've been told her name is in the past, says, "We're going to show Stoic. Is that right?"
Yeah, apologies. I did not make introductions. I am Stoic.
I'm Lenora. And this is Cebu. And Cebu's like, "Hi."
Cebu has the right energy.
And she says to Cebu, she says, "We're going to teach Stoic some of the things I've been trying to teach you." Fine. Just starts following along, kind of. You see her like still following, but like she just is kind of distracted and everything. She doesn't look like a kid, like, but she just has this sort of spaced out kind of vibe to her. And she, you guys kind of walk a ways out into the woods, just kind of quietly and at a kind of calm pace until you eventually reach a place where there's kind of a small, maybe about 10-foot waterfall. And, you know, she has you sit down on a boulder next to it, and she kind of sits down as well, kind of tucking her legs under her, kind of to the side as Cebu sits on another boulder and just plops down just on her butt. And she says, and Lenora says, "All right, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to listen." As you sit here, what do your feet feel? Feel the boots wrapping around them. You feel the rock under you. Is it the hardest rock you've ever felt? Is it soft as rocks go? Feel the slight muscle movements of your feet and your ankles keeping your balance, your legs from keeping you from falling over. Feel the air around you, that slight cold breeze. Breathe it in. Notice how it feels in your lungs, and breathe it out slowly. Open your hand and feel the air passing through your fingers, over your fingertips. Think about what it feels like. And listen. Hear the branches creaking in that wind, the slow groan of sleeping trees, the occasional rustle of leaves, of those trees that never sleep. Listen for the soft sound, the occasion of animals foraging for food in this harsh environment. Hear the way the snow quiets everything. Hear Cebu's breath next to you. Hear my voice slowly passing by you. And imagine that even while the trees sleep, they grow. Their roots dig deep down into the earth, drawing up nourishment. They wait for the right moment, the right conditions to blossom and thrive. Can you feel their waiting? Imagine the squirrels nestled up with one another to keep each other warm as they occasionally enjoy the bounty of the hard work that they worked for year-round. Think of the insects lying still, immobilized by the cold, but hidden away and protected until the time comes for them to play their part in the world. Think of the bloodhawks high in the sky, searching a snow-covered landscape for food creeping about on the ground. Chaldron is the god of spring, but he is also the god of life. So even here in winter, you will find evidence of his presence. And he is also in you. Think about where you are, who you're with, who is close to you and who is far. How do you feel about those around you? How do you feel about your actions right now? How do you feel about yourself? Our emotions are important, but they cannot be swept. They cannot be swept under the rug and forgotten about or ignored. And that's when they transform into something cancerous. Emotions are like a garden. They can yield up delicious fruit in abundance, but they can also yield up poison and thorns. They must be pruned and sometimes even weeded, but never ignored. What is in your garden, Stoic? What is yielding fruit that you're reluctant to pick?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't had much time to contemplate myself with all that's going on around me. I've been a little too stricken with grief as of late. And I still feel unworthy of that grief.
Is that a plant that needs to be weeded? Is it a plant that needs pruning? Or is it a plant that has very good fruit that you're afraid to eat?
I think it needs pruning. I think it will bear fruit. That will help me. But I need to cultivate it a little more.
And what will happen if you don't prune it?
I'm afraid it will consume me.
And if you do, what does it offer you?
Redemption. Which I think is a goal worth striving for.
How do you feel?
Relaxed. And damp.
Well, it is a waterfall and there's snow.
It is.
Let's continue. Now I want you to, and feel free to be creative. What do you do, or how do you think, or what do you do just to help you in this exercise of meditation and kind of exploration of yourself?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've never really considered Stoic much of a meditator.
It's
Like,
probably
I know what
pretty
I would
difficult.
do,
Yeah, it's
but I'm like,
probably pretty difficult for him.
yeah. To be honest, I don't think he would fully go into meditation
Okay.
with others around, because when he tries, images of death and sacrifice and fill his mind. And he's not quite ready to let himself plunge into that grief.
Okay. Let's roll a, in that case, let's roll a wisdom check with disadvantage.
I think I have disadvantage on wisdoms anyway.
-1. Let's see. All right.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's a good.
That's not
Okay.
too bad either.
Okay.
13.
Okay.
Way worse.
13. Yeah. So you listen to her, and you can't help but be soothed a bit by the scenery and by her kind of serene voice. There's something that's just very calming about her presence. It's not even just her voice; it's just her whole aura is just calm, and comforting in a way that you haven't really felt since you didn't really have a mother and didn't really know that sort of presence. It's just restful. It's really more her than the scene, and you just find that she is just gently getting you to explore, like never forcefully, never aggressively or anything like that, but just gently asking probing questions, and sometimes deep and pointed questions, but always trying to get you to think about these things that you don't want to think about. And to think about them in those terms of those questions of like, are they good? What happens if you don't deal with them? And what happens if you do? And just kind of leading you through envisioning what it's like if you don't deal with them and what it's like if you do. And just sort of gently continuing to re-emphasize the idea in your own pace and in your own time, you are going to have to address the things in your garden, as she continues to refer to it, in your garden, before they poison everything else that's good in there, like a weed would, or like a invasive species. And that, you know, each thing kind of has its own way of dealing with it. But it's just this very gentle, reassuring way of going about very delicate topics, you know, that's... and you can't help but... Whether you ultimately do or not is up to you, but you can't help but feel like she's onto something. Like there might be something there. You know, and she does kind of make you feel safe, you know, in a way most people haven't so far.
Oh, I think he'd break down with her eventually. Just it would take a little while.
Toward the end of your meditation, you're kind of drawn out of it a little bit as you hear next to you a small little...
Yeah, Sammy's my new favorite.
Yep. I said we got a new one now. Okay.
Mascot.
Check Sabu at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Burn this place to the ground, keep Sabu alive.
Slip an eyebrow and go back to meditating.
So Lenora gently kind of draws you out of it and wakes up Sabu, and you kind of find that the sun has kind of moved in the sky more than you thought it did. You know, it's almost like you lost track of time a little bit and everything. But it's just a very profoundly different experience than what you've dealt with so far, and like what you've experienced so far. How do you feel?
Lighter. Definitely lighter.
She kind of, as you stand up and everything, she kind of like takes your chin gently and just kind of looks at you and says, "Doesn't that feel better?"
It does. Thank you.
Good. We're just getting started.
That's what I was worried about.
It will be good. Hard at times, but it always good. And Sabu's like, more hard than I want it to be.
Ooh, that's a mood right there.
Alright.
We're all gonna go to the gift shop and buy those like calendars, you know, where it's like what mood are you in today? And it's just the different faces of Sabu.
Right.
But it's all like exhausted, exasperated.
Every mood's the same.
Every month.
Yep.
Slight variances between boredom, distracted, and exasperated. Alright. Anything else you want to do or say to her?
No, not on the first day.
Okay. Alright, so then as Drael takes you to a kind of a nicer tent, still not huge, but nice-ish. And you know, holds it up as like, this is you.
Thank you for saving the best for last year. As I brush off some of the
Simply
mud.
the furthest away.
Ooh, I feel like there's truth in that.
The point taken, yeah. I'll be off then, yeah.
I know it's literal, but it feels pointed.
Yeah.
So as you duck inside, as he takes off, you step inside and you see before you a high elf with a kind of a high elf woman with a strong jawline who looks pretty spry for her age, which, by the look of her, she is showing, which means, means she's probably mid to late 600s.
Yeah.
Like, she's been around for a while.
Yes.
She's not very tall, like you're taller than her. And, she's got these golden eyes that you've seen occasionally in high elves, but, kind of rare. And you see her sitting with this sort of like relaxed but good posture as she sits like with her back to a chair, reading a book, and sipping tea, as technically you've seen once before, even though you weren't here.
I wasn't here. Easy to see that.
As she sets her tea down, she looks up at you and, well, it's about time. Slouching still, I see.
And actually, Easy tries to straighten up as best as he can. He goes, "This is the best that I can do at the moment. I had a very difficult morning." And because you tell me my robes.
Oh, I can tell. You did not think to wash on your break.
The river was very cold. And I felt that I would have required assistance to be lifted out of the river if I went into it. I did not want to burden any of my friends or giant man out there to lift me out of the water.
Only to burden me with your sight and smell.
Would you like me to go wash now or later?
Just, and she gets up and sets her book down, and she does a once around, like, walk around you, kind of looking up and down. It's like,
Yep.
Well, tell me what you have learned about your learning thus far.
Well, I've learned the ability to polymorph certain beings.
No. Like, how did you first begin learning magic?
In the Vesperwind. I learned there from a young age. Originally from the Everwood, and then eventually sent to Vesperwind, to be taught until I was the age, I'd say, human age of 20.
The Tower of Knowledge?
Yes, yeah.
And what ranking did you graduate with?
I actually don't know what Easy graduated with off the top of my head. What's the scale from 1 to what?
Well, they only accept 100 every year, and so a number of them drop out, so it's less than 100.
Less than 100? Oh, okay, so 1 out of 100?
What rank did you graduate with?
I would say Easy. Oof. I would say he ranked at 27.
And what school of magic?
Evocation.
And what is your most powerful spell thus far?
I'm trying to remember which one it is off the top of my head. I think it's...
Of course, not one you can't even use yet, don't you?
Exactly, the ones I can't use yet. I'd say is this psychic glance. Relatives, psychic glance.
And have you created any spells as of yet?
What? Not yet, no.
None at all.
Does that mean like I created out of like not even seeing one and copying it, actually like physically just making up my own spell?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You did.
I have? Okay, sorry. I was like,
He did?
which one was it? Oh! Was the Pass without a trace? Ah, yes, I did.
You smart guy. You.
I was like, wait, there is one that is unique to all the ones I have so far. Yes, I was able to tap into the cleric ability of divination and figure out how to do pass without a trace.
I understood that to be a ranger spell.
That too.
It's a ranger spell.
It is a ranger spell.
Yeah.
Oh, nuts! It's abjuration, yeah, right. I always mix up that one with divination. Those are the same color. It's very small on my phone. It's very hard to see. I thought it was divination. I was still able to figure it out regardless. Mistaking it for divination.
Is that all?
Yes.
And what is this? And she gestures, and you notice that apparently coming in behind you, Galaxis had come in and was kind of perched on a little side table near the entrance, watching you.
That is my familiar. It's Galaxis.
Quite abnormal for a wizard's familiar to be able to take that form.
Yes. I have received it from a witch.
Have you?
Indeed, yeah. We're still building our relationship.
And what, pray tell, does that mean?
Good question.
Indeed, yeah.
It's complicated.
It is
Facebook status.
difficult to explain, but the familiar does not quite respond to my commands. Not all of them, anyway. Has a bit of a mind of his own.
Ever heard of a wizard who could not control his own familiar? It's bad business indeed.
Yes, I have much to learn.
She does.
But I don't know if you can show. I'm showing immense respect. Like I respect her very, very much.
Jesus, hot for teacher.
She does.
Why does everyone assume we're gonna all fall into the same hots for teacher trope? Just because most of us instantly fell in love with our teachers.
Just because the shoe fits.
Listen, anybody who shows me a little bit of respect and in any way, shape, or form is more powerful than me, I instantly love them.
So a teacher.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yes.
She does seem to want to tear you to pieces.
That's the most common expression she has.
The only expression she has.
Well, I do suppose witches are inscrutable. I should very much like to return to that subject.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, how's your mind?
It is crowded. If I were to be honest, as I'm sure you can see into it.
Well, let us test it.
Indeed.
I have a pot of potato soup. All potatoes in the soup are mine. No potatoes of mine that are new have been boiled. All my potatoes in this pot are fit to eat. No unboiled potatoes of mine are fit to eat. Are there any new potatoes in this pot? I'll say it again. All potatoes in the soup are mine. No potatoes of mine that are new have been boiled. All my potatoes in this pot are fit to eat. And no unboiled potatoes of mine are fit to eat. Are there any new potatoes in this pot?
There are no potatoes at all.
At all? What do you mean? The question is, are there any new potatoes in this pot?
No, they're not.
Why?
bags of potatoes that you sent, they were all in there, were yours anyway. There were no potatoes added in as we were talking.
I'm afraid luck is not going to do you very well. You got the right answer, but not for the right reasons. That was not good logic. That was mere luck.
My professor says that sometimes as well, in the past.
Well, then he was perceptive.
Indeed, he was a very good teacher.
From the look of you, you're either someone who cared once and lost that care, or you never cared at all as you should. Which is it?
It's the first one.
What is it that made you lose your care?
Fear.
Of?
Fear of not finding the right purpose.
What sort of purpose do you seek?
It's the purpose of why we even exist. What is it that makes us continue on?
Such grand thoughts are the things that motivate you on a day-to-day basis.
Unfortunately, yes.
And how do you hope to wrap your mind around such grand knowledge if you don't even care to wrap your mind around such simple knowledge as you know now?
That is the conundrum, yeah.
Not a conundrum, it's inconsistent.
That is also true. Sometimes I wonder if there's a point to it at all. Hence why the care sometimes happens to slip. Most of the time. But there is hope in the fact that there are good things out there. There are good reasons to live for others rather than yourself. And that continues to be a driving force behind why I'm here.
Existential crisis.
Yeah.
Do not cast it, but go through the motions of casting this psychic lance spell.
Does the... It's... Double check. Just want to make sure I do it right.
You do the ring.
Yeah, that's right.
Vocal and somatic only.
It's vocal only.
Oh, okay.
It's vocal only. I thought it was somatic, but it's only vocal. So I
The
whisper.
hair is just for show.
The hair is just show. Just like black. And then whip the head. I just do the verbal component of whispering. Like, basically whispering for the lance to find its mark.
Stop. Don't mumble it. Don't slur your words. You're not some drunken sailor chanting a rhyme. You must speak with precision and confidence. Magic is your slave. It is not, you are not to be bossed by it, you are to boss it. You must speak with confidence and clarity. If you make even one mistake, you could lose your head, or someone else's. Again.
That's fine. It's Mark.
You still sound like a scared little boy. She does this with you probably 25 times, like correcting you brutally each time, until it's like where the words almost start to lose meaning.
Yes. yeah. It's like just being droned, and yeah.
I've had enough of this. Something with a somatic component. What do you know?
I'm fairly decent at fireball.
Perform the somatic component. Again, with a drunken waving like a tavern brawler. Tighten that fist. Move with precision. You're cutting like a dance. You're cutting through the air in a very precise pattern. You must nail it. Well, now you're too tight. Again, she continues on through this spell that you're familiar with, that you've cast with, but still didn't realize,
there's way
you
to
feel
improve.
completely incompetent. She is highlighting things you've never even thought about before, and just brutally making you understand this. And
Arcane.
she finally stops you and listen, you're only now just beginning to touch what magic is capable of, but if you don't tighten yourself up, you will risk it ripping you apart. Or worse, ripping your friends apart.
Yes.
You can't help in that moment but think of Nerulian
Yes.
from the caravan.
Yeah. I remember.
Or perhaps some innocent bystanders. Many villains have been created simply through lack of dedication to their craft.
It's true.
And that is the most dangerous of all. You are playing with great power given to us by the gods themselves, and such power is the most dangerous inside. In here. She taps your head kind of aggressively. And here, and taps your chest. Even if you survive your own magical growth, you just might go insane.
I've seen that, yeah.
Quite. The history books are littered with wizards who went insane from not controlling their own power, not controlling themselves primarily and first of all. Why do you think there are so many of these stories? Magic is mysterious, it's counterintuitive, unbelievably complex, maddening. Our minds were not meant to approach it lightly, and only the most disciplined of minds can master it. And then there's the matter of your heart. If you do not master your own emotions, you will never have what it takes. There are two kinds of lack of control. Those who let their emotions control them, and those who are too afraid of their emotions to truly engage with them. Both of these are equally dangerous. One is a reckless wildfire, the other a dormant volcano waiting to erupt. And when it does, it can break you. It can cause you to go down a path you never thought possible in an instant. Do you understand what I am telling you?
Yes, it's a balance.
Now, I have no room, time, nor inclination for students who do not care. Do you care?
Yes. I'm beginning to.
You had better. This is especially sensitive to me now, because my husband, Danton, did not give his life recently for careless causes. And believe you me, it's quite possibly that he had more magical skill in his left hand than you will have in your entire life.
I'm ready to learn.
Good. Your next most powerful spell. And she continues on, cycling through all of your spells. Finally, as you're like mentally, even physically exhausted in a way that you haven't been in magical training before, she says, all of this is good. All of this is discipline, but what are you doing to keep your mind occupied? What do you put your mind towards when you have the time?
Try to learn new spells, that I've acquired from people that we've encountered and defeated. And I show her Greenwood's and Belladonna's books.
She takes some. Yeah, she takes some time, flips through it, and
Aware of their power.
I should hope so. These are quite terrible. Must be quite terrible people.
Indeed, I do not intend to use most of these.
I should hope not. These are the very spells you want to avoid. You and your friends acquired these by defeating them.
Yes.
Well, these are no small feat for someone who is just above amateur.
Do you expect me to become more as an amateur by the end of our training?
This sort of growth takes time. It's not the sort of thing you'll be able to grow in 6 weeks. This is a lifetime of training. I expect to teach you what you can know to go on that path. Perhaps you will learn a thing or two in this time. I should hope. But more so, I give you the tools to learn for yourself. To tighten up the places that you've allowed to be loosened, and to manage yourself above all. So that one day you could learn this and not be destroyed. And more importantly, not destroy others. This learning spells all you keep occupied, and she hands it back to you.
Sometimes I relax with this, and I pull out my pipe.
Will there be no smoking in my presence?
That's usually about it.
Seems to me you have problems you're not addressing. Notice how you did not answer with all the different ways you are trying to earn this companion's trust. I wonder what other problems you're neglecting.
That's why I said it's not. My mind was clouded at times.
Well, perhaps it's the smoke in part.
It's what keeps my focus at times. From the chaos, from overruling my mind.
Well, you have some potential.
Thank you.
We will begin addressing it. Now, psychic glance again. She spends the rest of your time
Just
doing stuff like this, drilling stuff, tightening things, getting you to think about aspects of these spells that you haven't before, connecting dots that you haven't before, how these spells are connected in ways you didn't realize. like basically making you feel like you haven't thought about any of this before. It's like you're just reciting, and she's trying to get you to think, like to actually use your mind to understand these things, not just to recite. And it just continually expressing how dangerous it is just to approach that way, because this is stuff that will destroy you, like can literally destroy your mind if you don't have the mind for it. And just like and she draws on a lot of analogies like muscles and swords and all that kind of stuff. It's like you have to have the right tool for the job, and if you don't, then it'll break you. And so eventually, after this kind of initial day of meeting your mentors and these various activities, you gather back together for an evening meal.
Nursing wounds.
It's like
egos and.
It's like McGonagall and Smite had a kid.
It was a shot fire. She had like an Uzi's worth of shots. Like, it was just constant.
He's had a rough day today.
Sarah's in an amazing mood. She's just like making food, making tea. Like, she's just in an incredible mood
I'm like
right
face first on the ground, on the bedroll, just like arms out.
You literally like you hear like a plate of food and a saucer and a cup of tea like sit next to you, and you hear her Sarah's just like humming to herself, like while she's just like setting up the table and everything. She's about almost at the like energy level she was when she was in the Feywild, where like her problems didn't exist and she was like absolutely cracked out on good feelings. She's like not cracked out, but she's feeling pretty good. Like.
Did you drink something? Did they give you like a potion or something?
No, I had some soup.
What was in that soup?
Broth, some vegetables, remnants of some sort of game.
Don't tell me there's any potatoes, not soup.
There's no potatoes in the soup. I mean, I could ask, they could put some potatoes in. It was
Magic
turnips,
potatoes
though.
are dangerous.
Just. I mean, I don't want to like poke too much, but you seem good, which is odd.
Had an interesting day.
Yeah?
Yes, I like my mentor very much. He was very mindful.
Huh.
It's good to see you happy.
Yeah, seriously.
He has a dragon!
I'm sorry, what?
Well, it's called a drake. It's like a tiny dragon. He has a dragon!
What do you mean?
So does Easy.
No,
yeah.
it's much bigger than yours. It's like the size of your
White
Claw. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit bigger, but pretty big.
But like a dragon. Like he's like a dragon.
Well, it's a drake, but yes, and it was gold.
Gold dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rare.
Wait, so you
I just instinctively reach over and like heal Easy. I'll give you a decent. You're getting 3 health points. I don't know where you're hurt.
That's helping.
For the emotional wounds.
Yeah. 3 points of exhaustion. That's what it's
For your emotional
mentally, spiritually, and physically. Yeah.
Well, how was everyone else's day?
I think interesting is it's a good word to describe it.
Yeah.
You don't like your mentors?
No, I do, actually. I'm surprised I do. She's not the kind of person that I would typically like.
Why?
Oh, she's all about, like, you know, be stronger. Loyalty is only worth something if you can do something about it. Not always seeing the full picture, it seems like. But she's...
That seems like a full picture to me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, we disagree. Like, that's not the full picture. Loyalty is important. No matter how big your stick is, it's still important. I mean, like, stick to hit somebody with. How big your sword is.
Yeah, no, I got that, but that's a weird way to look at loyalty.
I disagree. I think it's the best way to look at loyalty.
By the size of your stick?
No, by how loyal a person is. Like, she's saying an ant's loyalty is nothing. I disagree. I say even an ant's loyalty means something. Even if he can't do anything for me,
Sure, an ant's loyalty is great to other ants.
Even to me.
Oh, so that ant's loyalty is going to save you.
No. But it means something that the ant would be loyal to me.
Sure, but a lot of things can be loyal to lots of things, but that doesn't mean anything when...
And that's where we disagree. I understand the practical side. I understand that the ant can't do anything for me. But the fact that he would be loyal to me is important.
Sure, emotionally, that is very lovely.
Yeah,
But we're talking about war.
I know. See, this is why I'm surprised that I like her, because I don't like this conversation at all. But
I imagine it was a very similar conversation.
very. But she did it differently. She did it more caring, more sympathetic.
Oh, I'm not caring or sympathetic.
Not really.
Really?
No.
Bear, I love you with my whole heart. I would literally murder the entire world to keep you safe.
We need popcorn.
How am I not loving or caring?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I just don't see that side of you.
I show it to you every single day. I feed you, I put tea in front of you, and I stab people who want to harm you. In what way am I not showing you love?
You're kind of biting. You kind of tell me to shut up sometimes.
Yes, when you're acting like a complete and total fool.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel good.
But it keeps you alive, doesn't it?
I disagree. I mean, we never know. You never let me talk. Well, that's not
I
true.
let you talk
You do.
plenty.
Not plenty. And I stayed alive this long without your protection.
Bear, I don't think you want to go down this... I'm in a very good mood, and I don't think you want to go down this journey with me right now.
That's fine. I'm just being honest.
I appreciate your honesty, Bear. I actually really do. I think your version of love and my version of love are two different versions of love.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it. I agree with you.
I'm sad that you do not see the love that I am giving. But I am not sorry for how I give it, because it is my love language.
No, and yeah, I'm sad I don't see it too. I didn't know you felt that way.
I have died twice now in the presence of you all.
Not for him. I'm not getting in the middle one.
Stug, do you want to go down this rabbit hole too?
No.
Because I've died for you once.
Easy, how was your day?
I love you all very, very much. And if I don't say it enough, I am sorry. I love you all very, very much. I love you differently, but you don't love me back that way, so...
I do apologize. I didn't know you felt that way.
I would have left long ago if I didn't love you all. I love him best, though. If we're going to be honest. But that's because he lets me cuddle with him.
Yeah.
We love you too, Sora.
Thank you. Now, enough about me. How was everyone else's day?
I told you, it was interesting.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
I saw you for a little bit.
I'm over in the corner kind of wrapping wounds and probably more quiet than usual. Yeah. And I'm not like, I'm not trying to heal. I'm just like wrapping and kind of taking care of the, I'm not sure all that he did to me, but I'm willing to bet it was, I look rough.
You hurt.
Yeah. I look rough too. Yeah.
He's not a pull of punches kind of guy in training.
Yeah. Any cuts, bruises, anything like that, just trying to tend to that as much as I can.
I'll bring you food and tea.
Thank you.
You okay?
It was a day. It was hard. Yeah.
Saw a little bit. Heard a little bit.
Yeah, not my best moment in a lot of ways. Yeah. But we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Don't clench your jaw when you fight. He sees it.
I didn't even know I did that. Okay.
You clench. To tell.
Okay. Thank you.
Easy. We got to meet the other person yesterday. How was she today?
Even better.
Yeah?
And my voice is like hoarse. Like I've been saying so many things for so long. And so I cast Mage Hand to try to like scribble some things on a pad. on just like a piece of parchment that I have. Let's just say, voice hurt. Said over 4,000 spells. Not quite 4,000, but it was a lot. Brain hurt. Easy hurt. Glaxus doesn't care. and I have Mage Hand just like hand it out.
Thank you.
The parchment.
Drink your tea then. It'll make your throat feel better.
Thank you very much.
There's extra in the pot.
Oh, I'm gonna need it. I still have mud on my robes.
Give me your robes.
Alright.
Take them and find a basin somewhere and wash them.
It's not hard.
I don't care. I'm butt naked elf right now, half elf right now. I'm just laying right now.
Whatever. I do whisper under my breath though, like I'm like, I really wish I wasn't the only person here who gave a shit about everyone every day. It'd be nice if we had a certain, I don't know, cleric back in our party. She could help me out with this bullshit.
Are you saying this out loud?
I'm talking to myself outside. I'm just like ranting into the nothingness.
Getting a couple strange looks from passing.
It's fine.
I'm gonna swing over to Val. I'm just sit next to him. You look like you had about as good a day as I did.
Yeah.
Would it be forward of me to say it was a little humbling?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the same for you.
Are you planning to meditate tonight before bed?
I think so. It's I've kind of fallen out of the practice. I think it's something I need to pick up again.
Well, would you mind taking me with you?
Sure.
I guess it's now part of my training, which is better than blacksmithing, which is what I thought they were going to train me in. So, but I think if this is, I appreciate my mentor's help, but I think if this is going to work, I'm going to need to learn to meditate on my own as well. And so, if you'd be so kind, I would appreciate the help.
Yes, we can do that. What time is it now? Like
At this point, it's getting dark. Like it's,
okay, so
yeah.
we're getting towards the towards dusk and evening. We can go maybe.
Kind of a late dinner.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think probably after we eat and probably after it gets dark, I might go wander around the compound or whatever fort, wherever we're in, and find just a nice quiet spot away from the ruckus, as much as I can get away from the ruckus, and maybe a place that you can see starlight, moonlight, things like that. And
Sure.
And then I will like walk him through the kind of steps. But the weird thing is that while Valen's saying them, it's like it's almost out of body in a sense. Like he knows the steps. Yeah, he knows the steps, but he's not actually doing them himself. He's just really unsettled right now. Like he knows the steps and he can walk people through. He can walk himself through them, but he's not actually engaging with it.
You get soggy robes thrown back at you.
Tonka.
Hang them up before you fall asleep.
Yeah, he's ready. Yeah, he's done.
Bear,
Yeah.
what are 3 words that you think of when you look at me? Or associate with me?
You want to be honest?
Yes, I want you to be honest.
Can we have this conversation? I would like to.
Sure.
Okay.
3 words. What are they?
Untrusting. How do I describe? You ferocious? And that like you don't give up. The odds are stacked against you, but you keep going. And I guess biting?
Biting, not biting.
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 Mhm, okay.
Her words are biting.
Fighting.
Yeah. There's a
No. Do you know what Asura means?
no.
The little one who bites.
There you go. I just
Wow.
yeah.
Spot on.
It's from the old tongue. It's I don't know, I've never read any of the old books, but apparently there were types of devil lords
Okay.
of different realms, and one of them was Asura, and it was the little one who bites.
Oh.
It was the trickster devil, the one who kind of got into things and got under things and into things and nibbled and bit away at things, and you didn't know until it was too late that it was biting.
Are you've known this?
Well, one of the boys told me that that's what my name meant. I never actually searched if it was true, but one of the old grannies said that I was a biter. So I imagined that she was also telling me the truth too. But that is what I was told my name meant, was the one who bites.
But like you've known that like basically your whole life.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm not sure exactly who named me Asura, but as long as I've known, that has been my name. And I was told it was from the old tongue.
But I'm asking, is this something that you just are? Or
But the little one who bites.
yeah, or do you know that about your name, so you try to be like that?
It could have been a self-fulfilling prophecy, I'm not sure. But I was very small, and I was very dangerous, and I
Can't
said
help
some
you,
truly mean things.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, it's just
No,
it's very
yeah,
funny that
yeah.
biting was one of the words.
Yeah. I think I misspoke earlier. I think you do love me. But I don't think you're very sympathetic all the time.
I am not. I am empathetic, but I am not sympathetic.
I guess I don't see that side too much. I know you care for Stoic. I know you care for Valen. I know you care for Selena.
That is an easier love to show.
What, Selena?
Yes. Even Valen and Stoic. It's harder to show love to you and to Easy.
Why is that?
Not entirely sure. I think I fear that of all of you, my love would come with conditions.
Your love to me or my love to you?
Your love to me.
Come with conditions.
Where I don't feel judged in the love that is held with Valen and with Stoic, even though I know that my love to Stoic is very complicated.
Well, I'm gonna go there.
I don't think it comes from a place of judgment. Whereas I feel with Easy and with you, there is judgment in that love. There is expectations in that love that I need to perform in a certain fashion.
What do I give off? What specifically, what expectations do I give off?
I mean, we had this conversation with when Balin and all of us were in that hotel together, but I feel like you expect a level of perfection is not the right word, but it is the only one that comes to mind. But you expect me to adhere to something or to be something that I am not going to be. And I don't want to be.
Are you referring to the moral argument of like what is right, what is wrong?
Yes. And even just moments ago when we had our little tiff over what constitutes loyalty, it feels like if I don't agree with your version of events, then the love is conditioned to only going as so far as my willingness to agree with you. And I used to be the type of person who would bend to anybody else's opinion of myself or anyone else. I did exactly what I was told to do. I lived exactly to everyone else's expectations of me. And I don't want to be that person. So for me, showing you love is difficult because I fear that I'm going to have to not bend but break.
It's funny. I feel like I have to. Well, I don't have to is the right word, but I feel like so opposite of you guys in like the way I think. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to stop you from convincing me.
Why would you stop somebody from... We're not trying to convince you. Maybe that is the issue. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm trying to open your mind to what other thoughts are happening. To either make sure that you are stalwart in your feelings about it, that you haven't not thought it through, or it is an opportunity for me to understand the thoughts that I have never had. I can't be confident in my opinion if I don't know what the other opinion is.
There's wisdom in that.
If I can't debate it.
Yeah.
To poke holes in my own thoughts.
Yeah.
Because if I say that I believe something and the minute the first hole gets poked and I start to waver in my belief on the thing that I said was true, I'm never going to be able to hold to it. And the minute that I can't hold to something, I am weak. And I am easy to manipulate.
So you like to explore other options. You want to know what the other side is thinking, so
I want to know what everyone is thinking. If I'm going to be good for this team, I need to understand every side of what is happening. And not just understand in like a large concept. I need to understand what is happening in here. Why someone is so willing to put their life, their soul on the line for this thing. Why do they believe it? Why do they close their ears to everything else?
I can't speak for everything, but in some scenarios, necromancy is a really great example. It's a power that is tempting.
Absolutely.
I guess I fear by exploring too much of that power, you won't know what you're doing. You'll think you're doing good.
Well, first of all, I don't have magic, so therefore...
I know, I'm just as an example of why there are some areas I don't go to.
Is it because you don't trust me? Or is it because you don't trust yourself?
I'm not talking about you.
Well, that's why I said me in quotations. Because you had said, when you were talking about you used me as the reference. Is it because you don't trust someone else with that power, or you don't trust yourself with that power?
I don't trust anybody.
Why don't you trust yourself?
Because it's tempting.
Sure. Lots of things are tempting.
Mm-hmm. I do see your point of understanding other sides, but I think you need to be careful about exploring some other sides.
I'm careful with every side I explore. Is it because you don't trust me to take care of myself?
No. It's because I don't trust myself, and I don't want anyone to get lost.
Well, you can't control anyone else.
I know. Don't like it. But I know.
It's true. You don't have to not... I mean, you can not like it all you want, but it doesn't change the fact that that is true. In those instances, you have to worry about yourself. If you don't trust yourself with those things, that is a you problem. Perhaps it's just because you've never tested yourself? Are you fear of that temptation because you've never actually tried to lean into them?
Maybe?
I will say this. It is nice to indulge in occasional temptations. They are not all bad. And those things that are bad, you learn very quickly. There is a line that you draw.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, we should do this.
Do what?
Talk about it.
We are talking about
I
it.
know.
So, it's not that we should. We are.
I know. I was about to not go there.
Well, why were you not about to go there? Did you not want... I mean, we don't have to go there right now. What I am saying is, part of this journey is yours.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I end up being the punching bag because I'm the loudest. And I'm the one who doesn't back down from you.
Any people back down from me?
All the time. They just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to get in a fight with you.
I don't.
Which, by the way, where are you guys having this conversation?
In the tent.
Yeah.
Oh, so with Easy. Well, you two are gone.
Yeah.
but Easy's
Yeah.
probably
Easy's
sleeping.
passed the fuck out.
Alright. You're not the first person to tell me this,
Sleep
so
check.
obviously there's some kind of truth to it, but I didn't see myself as, I don't know, a bully?
Bully may not be the right word. You are very confident in what you believe is right. It's what I said very early on, is that you have a very black and white view of things. And I don't mean that like, I don't mean that in the sense of like, you aren't capable of seeing nuance. What I mean is that you are not willing to indulge in the what if. To indulge in that going into that darker place. Or going into that place where you fear the most. The what if I gave into this? What if I did actually believe it from the other point of view? What would happen?
So I'm having a hard time putting two and two together, because I keep thinking about the last conversation we had with Aegis. He's very black and white. Kill all crown people. Just kill them. Don't even talk to him.
No, he's not.
That was our whole conversation last time.
I think you fundamentally misunderstood the conversation.
Okay, what did I miss?
What the conversation was about was that there is no time to give people a chance in this war. It wasn't about that they don't deserve it. It's that for these people, they've already made their decision. They had chances. They've had chances for years now. It's not like this rebellion has just started. This rebellion has been.
Mm-hmm.
And there was plenty of chances for these people to see the rebellion in the action. It's not like the rebellion is hidden. Everyone knows about it. These people had time and had chances, and they didn't make those decisions. And then when they were faced with reality, they didn't change their minds. What he's saying is that we give everyone a chance to make their own decision. He welcomed us in with open arms because we made the decision to join.
Yeah.
We were given an option and we made the choice. I know we kind of pressured you into making it, but you could have still turned away.
Yeah, I could have.
He's saying the same thing about the rest of them. By the time we meet them, their opportunity to have made that choice already came and went, and they made the wrong one. And that is a nasty and ugly thing to say. And it is a cruel thing to say. And I wish we were better people to be able to give them second, third, fourth, fifth, 100 chances to make their decisions different.
Yeah.
But there is no time to make those decisions. And what if we had spared him? What if we had brought him back to the camp? What if he said for days, for weeks, for months that he was part of the rebellion, and then the first opportunity he had to run, he did, and told somebody where the camp was, told how many people were there, what they were training, the conversations that he'd overheard. What would have happened then?
No, I know. The risks are high.
And that is a difficult decision to make. It is not one that is made lightly. And it is not one that is made with moral blindness. It is one that has to be made with moral fortitude. Because it is a hard decision that weighs. Why do you think I do what I do? Because I know the moral fortitude I have to keep so that you and the rest of you don't have to make that decision. Because I'm willing to make those decisions.
I'm trying not to go to my black and white side.
It's as hard.
But I don't want you to dirty yourself for the sake of keeping me clean.
You don't have to want that for me, but I've made that choice. It's not like I'm being forced to do it.
Yeah.
As we are well aware, if I don't do anything, if I don't want to do it.
That's true.
And that is another way that I show love. I wouldn't do that for anybody. I do it because I know that I can. I know that it won't weigh me down. Not that I'm saying it is easy, and not that I don't say that I think about things all the time. And that I don't remember faces and hear screams and all the terrible things I have done. But it doesn't haunt me when I know that I've done them for the right reasons, for the right people. The ones that haunt me are the ones I did for the wrong reasons, and the wrong people.
Don't take this as unappreciated.
Speak your truth.
I don't even know what I was gonna say, but just the fact that I do appreciate you doing that. I just wish you didn't. Yeah, I wish that you didn't.
What would you like me to do instead?
I don't know.
Then that's the answer. If you can't tell me definitively what you would rather me do, then I will make my own decision on what I should do.
Can we share it a little better?
Sure. If you want to make the hard decisions too, I'm happy to bequeath a lot of it to you.
Yes, please.
But then I need you to know... I need to know that you won't resent me for that. Or yourself.
Okay. Okay.
And that you won't hold me to the same standard that you hold yourself.
Well, I don't need to hold myself to that standard either.
You hold yourself to a very high standard.
I'm realizing that.
At this point, you two return back into the tent.
I guess I'm sorry that
This is awkward.
Boys, you're fine. Boys, you're fine.
Get back here.
Boys, you're fine. You're fine.
Actually, it's probably better that you guys both hear this too. He can see it, it's fine.
Hear what?
I think we need to, I'm trying to find a good way to say this, but Asura doesn't need to make these tough decisions on her own.
I don't make these decisions on my own. What I'm saying is I'm willing to make choices.
Right. And it's not fair that you feel you have to do that on your own.
I don't feel like I have to. I choose to because I want to.
And I want to be there with you.
Okay, then be there with me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would like to. I understand who I am, so I know it's not going to be easy for me. But I would like to, with your guys' help, slowly work on that.
Well, I'll help you in any way we can, buddy.
Like I said, I know I'm still going to lean to a certain way. But I hope you guys are patient with me and can help me. I want to be a good Silver Flame. I want to help. And Silver Flames, they live in a world of gray.
The world is gray.
Mm-hmm.
Or purple. I want that for you. I think we all want that for you. We want you to be the best that you can be for yourself.
Absolutely.
And don't think that my criticizing your grounded perspective on what you believe is right and wrong is bad. It is not. I just hope that when we do have differing opinions on things, that it's you, instead of seeing it as a threat to your beliefs, see it as an opportunity to develop a better understanding, regardless if it changes your opinions on anything.
Okay.
Because I often do that same thing to you. I try to listen to where you're coming from. Now, I don't always do a great job about it either. I get very defensive. And I think we all have very strong opinions about certain things that we don't all agree on.
Very much.
So when we do have those disagreements, it's an opportunity for us to be mindful with each other. Not that we have to sway anyone, just that we can understand.
You just gotta do you, buddy. And we'll be here for you no matter what.
I feel like I have been doing me. That's the problem.
But if that doesn't feel good to you, then maybe that's something to reflect on.
I don't like that I've been. Sort of made me realize that I've unbalanced too. I don't like that I've, again, I can't think of the right word, but bullied you into, like, not debating with me, to just accepting my way or doing it without my, without, I don't know, like just doing it behind my back, for lack of a better word.
You've just been very closed off. You build walls.
I just figured that's who you are, but I love you anyway.
Well, thanks, man. I love you too.
I'm not gonna try to change your mind about things you really feel strongly about, but I'm not gonna hate you for them either.
I appreciate that.
I'm just gonna call you out on bullshit. There's a difference between holding strong to your beliefs, and then there's a difference in just closing your ears to everyone else.
Yeah, so you're not a bully. I think it's an inaccurate description.
Bullheaded, baby.
Bullheaded is
Absolutely.
very accurate. Bareheaded.
I don't know anything about it, so.
It's almost as if like two bulls go really hard with each other, you know?
Yep.
I guess my fear is I understand. What? I know in the world we operate, I know that we have to make decisions where people die. Bad things need to be done. People get hurt. And I fear the temptation. I don't want this group to stray into thinking we're powerful, into thinking that we can.
Well, if today has taught me anything, it is that we are not powerful. I mean, we have a lot of room for growth.
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. I never thought you were bullheaded or like sure of you're like I've always seen you as confident and very skillful, but not like you weren't overconfident, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I've never seen you as overconfident.
There might be some stuff there that I haven't dealt with, but
Fragile. I'd call you fragile.
Fragile.
Emotionally speaking.
I think that there's probably truth to that I haven't addressed yet.
Don't worry. I had a very hard question that posed to me that I don't really know the answer to as well. Although you'd be happy with one of my answers.
Please do tell.
I'll tell you later.
I don't think you're fragile.
He is.
Everyone raise your hand who hasn't died.
Oh yeah, that's me.
I am.
She's
It's like a mage hand, I assume.
Any chance going up slowly?
I would like to say that yes, I am incredibly physically fragile, and I have never said otherwise.
she did clarify emotionally fragile.
I did specify emotional fragility. Of all the people here, I am surprisingly the most emotionally competent, and that is disturbing on many levels.
I think that's up for debate. Not tonight.
Let's talk about love stuff. Let's have that conversation about emotional fragility.
As you say this, there's a motion near the entrance of the tent as you guys are talking to each other. You see, and this is for most of you the first time seeing the small gnomish form of Cebu just walk straight in.
Does the vase go up?
I would have set the vase on our way in.
Oh, you didn't say that. So she just walks in and like just plops down on the ground next to you.
To him or to any of us?
She just plops down next to Stoic.
Okay.
Stoke, do you want to introduce us to your new friend?
Hi.
This is
Hello.
Cebu.
Oh,
Hello, Cebu.
Is there any more of that soup?
First, Cebu, say hi.
she did.
I said hi.
Oh.
Sure. Would you like some tea as well?
Yes, please.
Okay.
She is
Who are you?
I'm Cebu.
She is my training partner, I guess you could say.
Like your mentor?
No, fellow student.
Oh, student.
I like your hat.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. There's food and tea for you.
Like I
Thank
said,
you.
Training's not what I thought it was going to be.
She takes this bowl. It's like this big.
I only filled it like this.
Like trying to get the spoon around in her mouth. Like not sipping it like you would think.
Yeah, so you can like take it to. You can actually sip off the spoon.
You know what? Everyone's going to eat in their own fashion.
That's very true.
Don't culture
let's
shame.
let's say we'll go on our own journey.
Is this a journey?
For many of us, it has been.
It's a very tasty journey.
Some journeys are delicious.
Or
She-
just eats.
Cebu, did you just come in for food and drink, or did you wish to involve yourself in the conversation? That no offense had nothing to do with you until you
What
arrived.
conversation?
Don't pay her any mind. She's fine.
Our might have been a lovely conversation, but no. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you to meet at the big cave in the morning.
There it is.
All of us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're going to fight each other.
Oh.
Oh.
Damn it.
And that's where we're going to end today.
Oh, man.
Then, Samuel, I would kindly ask you to take your food and leave.
Oh.
Damn it. Oh, that's not gonna go well at all.
Stoic hasn't really like attached to any children, but that one, I know she's not
I
a
would like to
kid.
point out. I'd like to point out that it was specifically right, not a kid, but spaced out vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Stoic's mind, they're tiny. They're all children.
They're below 3 feet, you're a child.
Yeah.
That's a very problematic way of looking at people smaller than you.
Oh.
Highly questionable view.
I mean,
Well, when you
that's
get to
Stoic,
this
though.
height, you'll have the same view.
Still, you aren't that tall.
I'm 6'6".
You aren't that tall. Not when a wizard towers over you, and this guy towers over you.
I do.
I forgot I was 6'6". I was looking through my stuff and I was like, I am tall.
Tower.
I think I'm that
8
tall. I
foot.
thought you were like just a little over 6 feet.
Yeah, no, I thought I was like 6'3". I didn't realize I was 6'6".
That's
You
what
wrote down 6'3" on the thing.
That's
so
what I thought, but on Beyond it's got me down at 6'6". I was like,
Oh,
I mean, you're whatever you wanted to be.
I suddenly have a very particular like flash memory in my head. My dad was 6'6", and I specifically remember like the way he would have to like enter a room like with like slightly like deal
Yeah.
with like the
Uh-huh.
I don't know the minute you were like he's 6'6", I was like, and then Stoic enters every room kind of like this.
well, yeah, because he's only 220
No.
like, in weight. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's a
little,
scrawny.
yeah, he's a little gangly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the armor just fills in well. gives a good silhouette, but
Got that chest armor.
yeah,
Well, good job.
just abs.
Good job. Good job to you as well.
That was a lot. Yeah. That was a lot to work
I'm in love with these NPCs.
Yeah,
Each and every one of them.
Is it any surprise though?
Well,
No.
yeah.
it still blows my mind every time.
Yeah.
You can hold the mental space
For this many people.
and the accent.
Mhm.
Oh,
As well as you can. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yeah, it's not easy.
Well, one of them had a very slight glaive accent. Who had the
Yeah.
glaive?
The
Oh,
monk.
Con.
yeah.
Alcon?
Because
It's the same
Shadow,
accent.
yeah, because the
It
Shadow
is-
fell.
yeah,
Or the,
Shadow.
like,
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, I figured there was.
Listen, I've been clocking the colloquial and like dialect differences of regions. I'm like, this person is probably from this area.
Yes, indeed.
I'm a nerd.
I am a nerd.
Yes, indeed.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like.
No, it's good stuff though. Like good, like, because that's like some challenging RP. Like like asking the questions they were asking and.
Taking down some
It's my
places.
favorite. It's my favorite.
I wanted to take the easier route, and I wanted to break down and like go through some stuff. And I'm like, he's not gonna do it on the first day.
Yeah, no.
He's just not. And so I was
Right.
like,
Very accurate.
First day.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a stranger.
Yeah, I was like, eventually, I was like, I wanted to get into it, and I was like, nah, he just wouldn't.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, cool. I am so glad to be all of us back. This is amazing. And so we will do so again next week.
Yes. Yes.
So as they continue their training and see where we go in Learndale, we will be back next week. So see you then.
Yep.
Good night.